fright. I shall ask you one final time. Are you a member of the quantitative organization? Ji Xian's flowing black hair billowed in the wind as he looked down upon the emperor's corpse with an imposing presence. The sword of celestial decapitation, gripped tightly in his hand, radiated an aura of terrifying destruction. Do you comprehend the consequences of your actions? The emperor's corpse, feeling the blade pressed against its throat, spoke in an increasingly hoarse voice. I am a denizen of the underworld mountain. Do you wish to oppose the entire forbidden zone? Enough with your incessant prattle. Perish. A streak of azure light erupted from the sword of celestial decapitation, cleaving the emperor's corpse in two. A blue soul surged forth from the corpse's brow, attempting to escape. With a sweeping gesture, Ji Xian summoned the power of creation, firmly grasping the soul in his palm. Soul search. His boundless spiritual energy surged into the soul, poised to extract valuable information. Suddenly, an incomprehensibly formidable mental force expelled Ji Xian's consciousness, triggering the self-destruction of the emperor's soul. The dense imperial aura dissipated on the spot. Undoubtedly, this was the work of a great emperor. Well concealed indeed. The quantitative organization truly thrives in the shadows. Ji Xian scoffed coldly. In that case, I shall take both this emperor's coffin and the chaotic divine lamp. He reached toward the emperor's coffin as the remaining 3 blood-red stars exploded violently. You dare! At that moment, a thunderous voice resonated through the heavens and the earth. With that single utterance, the world transformed, the winds and clouds swirling violently. An overwhelming imperial aura enveloped the realm, as the clouds hanging high in the sky plummeted, threatening to collapse the very heavens. The demon race's holy sovereign rushed from miles away, hastening to the front lines. Yet, upon arrival, he sensed the immense pressure. Such potent imperial might. He had been a witness to the imperial battles thousands of years ago, intimately familiar with this aura. Cease all advance. The demon sovereign hastily signaled to halt the troops behind him. There can be no mistake. This is indeed imperial might. His heart constricted, as the cataclysmic events of millennia past flashed vividly before his eyes. Heed my command. All cultivators retreat to 30,000 miles away. An emperor has emerged. Chapter 110, The Curtain Falls. In the coastal expanse, the void trembled, revealing an unfathomably deep black vortex. A formidable imperial aura emanated from within, striking terror into the hearts of all who felt it. Thousands of miles away, Sun Huang and Ao Tian halted their actions, their gazes fixed upon the ominous black vortex. Beads of cold sweat trickling down their brows. Master seems to be in danger, Sun Huang stammered. The young master will be fine. Ao Tian shook his head, displaying no concern whatsoever. Ji Xian stared intently at the black whirlpool, his expression remarkably calm. He understood that lurking within the vortex was a true emperor. Young one, leave the ancient coffin and the chaotic divine lamp behind, and I shall spare your life today. A pair of golden eyes flickered to life within the vortex. Speaking with imperious authority, you claim to be an emperor, yet you hide in the shadows. To me, you are not but a mere rodent. Confronted by the imperial might, Ji Xian not only felt no fear, but retorted with words of defiance. What audacity, a saintly realm cultivator daring to challenge an emperor. I shall send you on your way. The entity within the whirlpool extended a silver hand, launching itself at Ji Xian with lethal intent. The silver hand appeared ethereal, as if it had emerged from the primordial chaos, its palms swirling with countless radiant lights, as though nurturing an entire world. What does it matter if the ancient emperor existed? Who dares to claim invincibility? Who proclaims themselves undefeated? Ji Xian's countenance remained steadfast and heroic, standing tall in the air with utmost majesty. Kong Tong's seal. Despite his bravado, he did not dare to overestimate his strength. A crimson seal shot forth, transforming through several stages into a towering divine mountain. The mountain was immensely heavy, and upon its appearance, it instantaneously created a colossal pit on the surface of the sea beneath. The silver hand was instantly bound, immobilized in its tracks. How could you possibly possess a celestial artifact? The emperor within the vortex was taken aback. Such treasures were beyond the grasp of many ancient clans. How could this saintly realm cultivator wield one? To brazenly summon a celestial artifact like this. Even if I cannot kill you today, there shall be no place for you in the realms of heaven and earth. The golden eyes of the emperor blazed with fury, a murderous intent radiating from him. Why waste words? Witness my blade. Ji Xian brandished the recently acquired 6th grade celestial artifact, the starry divine dragon spear. Positioning it in the air, and with a swift kick, propelled it forth. The spear morphed into an ethereal blue dragon, enshrouded in resplendent starlight. The dragon lunged forward, piercing through the silver hand in an instant. A wail of agony echoed from the vortex as the silver hand shattered. A cascade of silver blood raining down into the boundless divine sea, evaporating the surrounding waters for miles in a heartbeat. Such was the might of an emperor. Even a mere drop of blood could obliterate an expanse of the world. Another celestial artifact? Who are you truly? The day's events had brought forth an overwhelming surprise for the emperor. Ji Xian remained silent, coldly gazing at the vortex, resembling a sovereign defending his territory. Exuding an aura of solemn majesty. Thousands of miles away, The various cultivators plotting their escape were rendered speechless, their mouths agape in disbelief. What had they witnessed? An imperial battle. The suddenly emerging man in white had single-handedly crushed the hand of an emperor. Could he be a hidden emperor himself? Having already been defeated, how could he not retreat? Am I truly destined to slay an emperor today? Ji Xian roared, brandishing his sword and soaring into the fray. You audacious wretch! Were it not for the constraints imposed upon me by the great Emperor Kunpeng with the wheel of yin and yang, how could I possibly find myself at a disadvantage against you? The mighty emperor roared with a voice laden with indignation, utterly unyielding to the outcome of this battle. Having attained the status of an emperor for several millennia, he found himself overwhelmed by a mere saintly realm cultivator. Xiong, cried Ji Xian, I am here. With a commanding presence, he invoked the myriad swords to return to their origin. The sword goddess royal physique activated, unleashing thousands of sword shadows that cascaded like autumn rain, forming a resplendent river of blades. Ji Xian exerted every ounce of his being, the terrifying sword intent surging forth like colossal waves howling across the ocean. Bang, bang, bang. The black vortex was instantly dispersed by the torrent of sword energy, leaving behind only eerie wisps of dark aura. Youngster, do you dare reveal your name? Upon my arrival at Wanyao Prefecture, I shall surely raise your mountain gate and leave a trail of corpses for miles. The emperor, filled with resentment, found himself compelled to withdraw, thwarted by the interference of another formidable emperor. What an audacious organization to still claim power in secrecy. I am Ji Xian, the leader of the Xiantian Dao sect. Should you dare approach, I will eradicate every last one of the intruders from the Dark Mountain. Clad in flowing white robes, with his raven hair billowing, Ji Xian's aura was at its zenith. This was the first time he had earnestly engaged in battle. Should he unleash all his prowess? Even if he could not slay that emperor, he could surely peel away a layer of his skin. The black vortex gradually dissipated, signaling the victory of this confrontation. Cultivators from various clans, thousands of miles away, stood frozen in disbelief. Someone had actually repelled an invading emperor. More alarmingly, the white-clad figure had proclaimed himself as Ji. The elders turned pale. The Ji family's forces had long since retreated, yet such a figure had emerged. It seemed the rumors concerning the Ji family were indeed true. The 3,000 Dao states were on the brink of upheaval, lamented an ancient demon. Meanwhile, with a swift motion, Ji Xian summoned the lotus lamp that soared towards him. What kind of treasure was this lamp that warranted the personal intervention of an emperor for its retrieval? He was filled with curiosity. Swish. At the moment the lotus lamp was activated, a blue lotus seed emerged from the wick, its surface adorned with chaotic patterns, exuding an aura of mystery. A chaotic lotus seed? Ji Xian gasped in astonishment. This was an essential treasure for condensing a chaotic body. Suddenly, a faint heartbeat resonated from within. Alive? Ji Xian was startled and hastily infused his consciousness into it. In an obscure chaotic space, he beheld a woman in a blue robe collapsed on the ground. Her aura faint and delicate. Surrounding her was an overwhelming flow of pure chaotic energy. A chaotic body at the Saint Master realm, Ji Xian murmured softly. Being well-versed in the Dao patterns of chaos, he was intimately familiar with the power of this origin. System, is this individual a potential disciple? He pondered, feeling an affinity for talent. The chaotic physique was immensely powerful. If he could bring her under his wing, he would gain an additional formidable ally. Affirmative. The system replied without hesitation. What of the task? No updates? The timing is not yet ripe, the system responded. Very well, Ji Xian conceded. Thus far, this journey has been quite fulfilling. He prepared to return to his sect, retrieving both the emperor's coffin and the lotus lamp, along with the dismembered remains of the emperor's corpse. A peculiar disturbance rippled across the nearby sea, heralding the sudden appearance of an elderly man clad in a robe of black and white. Ji Xian, sensing an inexplicable awareness, turned to behold the figure. I have encountered you before, my friend. I am deeply grateful for your assistance this time, he expressed. The elder nodded in acknowledgement and swiftly vanished into the waves. With determined strides, Ji Xian approached the concealed demonic cultivators lurking at a distance. Goodness, he is advancing toward us. We witnessed him repel the emperor. He must be intent on silencing us. A trembling demon cultivator murmured in trepidation. Silence. Cease your foolish chatter. A venerable demon quickly admonished. For Ji Xian had already approached their midst. Esteemed elder, I am Qing Yunsheng, the ancestor of the Qingjiao clan. He introduced himself, bowing deeply. Soon after, several other demon dignitaries approached to pay their respects, each exhibiting profound reverence. Having witnessed Ji Xian's formidable prowess, they could not help but harbor a sense of awe. I am Ji Xian, the leader of the Xiantian Dao sect. The force that dared to invade is from the Ming Mountain across the indeterminate Divine Sea, and I have successfully repelled them. There is no cause for concern today. Ji Xian stood tall and composed, exuding an air of unyielding confidence, entirely devoid of any signs of fatigue from battle. Thank you, venerable elder, for your assistance. The demon cultivators collectively bowed in gratitude. However, Ji Xian continued. This incursion from Ming Mountain was merely a preliminary probe. Further actions will undoubtedly follow. The expression of Qin Yunsheng darkened with worry. If they deployed an emperor-level entity for their initial test, how shall we withstand their future assaults? Please, esteemed elder, provide us with guidance. He once again performed a deep bow, burying his head in the earth. It is quite simple. The entirety of the myriad demon state must submit to my Xintian Dao sect. When the time of great peril arrives, I shall offer you protection. Of course, I shall not coerce you. You will have a month or two to ponder this matter. Ji Xian's proposition was also motivated by the safety of the Xintian Dao sect. Given that Huangzhou lay adjacent to myriad demon state, if the latter were to fall, Huangzhou would similarly face doom. Upon hearing this, the demons nodded in agreement. Ji Xian then noticed something amiss and cast his gaze beyond Qin Yunsheng. There, he spotted a dragon of the Saint Lord realm, reminiscent of one seen within the Fire Dragon tomb. It is time to depart, he declared, turning to summon Sun Huang and Ao Tian from miles away. Ao Tian, what has happened to your face? Ji Xian inquired, lifting Ao Tian's chin to examine both sides. I bumped it, Ao Tian replied, visibly puffed up, casting a glare at Sun Huang. Sun Huang, clutching an iron rod, evaded Ao Tian's gaze while humming a cheerful tune. Realizing the cause of Ao Tian's predicament, Ji Xian extended his hand. With a resounding thwack, he delivered a playful slap to Sun Huang, who had no time to react before being plunged headfirst into the ground. Huh, look at you now. Ao Tian erupted into laughter, occasionally making faces at the unfortunate Sun Huang. Ao Tian, come here, Ji Xian called out. Coming, my lord, Ao Tian exclaimed, his short legs scampering with excitement. Witnessing Sun Huang's misfortune brought him immense joy. Ji Xian pulled him aside, gesturing toward Qin Yunsheng's companion, Qing Han. Is this what you referred to as the Fire Dragon tomb being thoroughly cleaned? Ah, my lord, allow me to explain. With that, Ji Xian departed, leaving the demons to bid him farewell along his journey. On a solitary mound of earth, 2 green onions were inserted upright. Chapter 111. Returning to the sect. The world in turmoil. In Huangzhou, at the foot of Jinyun Mountain, a thunderous sound resonated from above the clouds as a golden ancient war chariot descended gracefully. Coming to a halt before the gates of the Xintian Dao sect, Ji Xian stepped out of the chariot with deliberate ease. Behind him, Sun Huang and Ao Tian found themselves simultaneously wedged in the doorway. You stubborn monkey, move aside, let me go first. Ao Tian gritted his teeth, attempting to push Sun Huang towards the rear of the carriage. You slippery eel, let me out first. Sun Huang retorted sharply. Ji Xian, feeling somewhat irritable, scratched the back of his ear. The two had been bickering for over a month. With a swift motion, he waved his hand, instantly retracting the ancient chariot into his sleeve. Where's the chariot? The two exchanged bewildered glances, yet before they could fully comprehend the situation, they both tumbled to the ground with a thud. Damn it, your monkey butt is on my face. All right, silence. Return to the sect, Ji Xian said nonchalantly. The two immediately separated and stepped forward in unison. Within the outer courtyard of the sect, an array of spoils sent from the other great sects of Huangzhou was displayed prominently. Ji Xian surveyed the collection briefly before gathering it all. Gazing up at the towering Jinyun Mountain, he grasped the two and soared towards the direction of the immortal city. At the peak of the Sea of Clouds, a magnificent celestial city stood, radiating ethereal brilliance. Lines of celestial cranes, imbued with the aura of the immortal way, flapped their wings as they glided across the horizon. A vast river, wide as 1,000 zhang, flowed from the city, cascading down Jinyun Mountain, resembling a grand, inverted galaxy. Moreover, 2 white jade qilins stood atop the mountain, drawing in the essence of the sun and moon, their bodies exuding an auspicious imperial aura. Wow! Ao Tian and Sun Huang exclaimed in unison, awestruck by the spectacle before them, feeling as if they were living in a dream. Even in my wildest dreams could I not have imagined such a place. This time, Ao Tian did not retort, equally astonished as he gazed at the immortal city. During his previous outing, he was unaware of the city's existence. In a daze, the group had already entered the city. The 2 white jade qilins swiftly appeared before Ji Xian, nudging their enormous heads against his palm. Huang, your dragon essence fruit. Ji Xian retrieved the primordial purple gold gourd, pouring out a crimson fruit and handing it to Sun Huang. The fruit, though small, shimmered with a crystalline brilliance, akin to a precious gem. Sun Huang trembled with excitement as he reached out to accept it. Ding! A dragon essence fruit of the immortal medicine has been detected, triggering a return of 1,520,000 times. Obtained immortal medicine, dragon essence, X1. A crimson ribbon of essence appeared within Ji Xian's system space, presenting a solid liquid form. Waves of true dragon energy emanated from it, exuding an overwhelming dominance. Indeed, a treasure cultivated by the true dragon clan. Ji Xian noted the eager expression on Ao Tian's face and decided to slice off a small portion of the dragon essence to bestow upon him. Thank you, young master. Why does this thing have such a rich dragon aura? Ao Tian inquired, leaning closer to sniff the essence. You too, select a location to establish a cave dwelling. You shall cultivate within the inner sect from now on, Ji Xian instructed, turning his back to them. Ao Tian's eyes sparkled with excitement. as he had already set his sights on a particular spot. Woohoo! Long live the young master. He transformed into his true form and soared towards a towering giant tree. Sun Huang hastily departed, seeking a place that resonated with his heart. Ji Xian turned away from the white jade qilin and entered the imperial palace, preparing to dedicate himself to a period of profound cultivation. At this moment, the Xintian Dao sect was enveloped in an atmosphere of profound tranquility and harmony. However, beyond its borders, the world was already rife with tumult and upheaval. The news of Ji Xian's solitary confrontation with the emperor spread like wildfire across the 3,000 states, leaving many cultivators in awe of the emperor's emergence, believing it to be a harbinger of an impending era of great conflict. Yet, a considerable number harbored skepticism. When the emperor refrained from intervening, he did so without consequence. But once he took action, it would inevitably result in the obliteration of an entire realm. The disturbances in Wanyao Prefecture, affecting merely the coastal expanse of several thousand miles, were of a magnitude that even ordinary saint-level beings could achieve, thus failing to align with the legendary might attributed to the emperor. Furthermore, news of the emergence of the Ming Mountain lineage spread with astonishing swiftness. Ming Mountain is a realm among the 9 heavens and 10 earths, renowned as one of the most enigmatic places in this world. Typically, it operates under a cloak of discretion, with scarce information about this power circulating, and few Ming Mountain cultivators seen traversing the mortal realm. Yet, its status remains exalted, and none dare to underestimate it. Some assert that Ming Mountain serves as the final resting place for the strong, where many formidable beings converge in their twilight years to seek rebirth and enlightenment. Others claim it is the fabled portal to the netherworld, possibly allowing direct passage to the immortal domains through certain esoteric methods. In the martial world, opinions diverge wildly. The veracity of these claims remains shrouded in uncertainty. However, the most sensational news pertains to the Xintian Dao sect's leader, also bearing the Ji surname. The Ji family has historically prohibited its descendants from establishing independent paths. Yet, Ji Xian's actions have undeniably cast a shadow upon this ancient clan. Rumors have surfaced regarding the Ji family's clandestine secrets, suggesting the existence of hidden veins beyond their borders. In the 3,000 states, in Tianzhou, the ancient Ji family convened, with esteemed elders gathering to deliberate on matters concerning the Xintian Dao sect in the wilderness. The elders encircled the table, each one a figure of formidable repute. What are everyone's thoughts on the recent rumors circulating through the 3,000 states? Inquired a middle-aged man clad in purple robes, seated at the head of the table, exuding an imposing presence. This was Ji Yuanzhong, the head of the Ji family, who oversaw all matters, great and small, with significant authority. Upon receiving reports from the younger generation, confirming they had witnessed the manifestation of chaos and void, it was evident to him that it was indeed a member of the Ji family. An elder rose to speak. The assembly nodded in agreement, affirming the truth of this revelation. Has anyone investigated the movements of the hidden veins? Ji Yuanzhong asked. Replying to the family head, all hidden veins have been thoroughly examined. It was not the work of anyone from the hidden veins, an elder responded promptly. Ji Yuanzhong's expression grew grave, deep in thought. Could it be the Wu Dao lineage? A voice emerged from the corner. The elders exchanged glances, their expressions shifting as they turned towards the source of the voice. There sat a Taoist clad in a divination robe, wielding a feather fan and adorned with a jade gourd. Such words cannot be uttered lightly. Did not our ancient ancestors strictly forbid any further discussions regarding the Wu Dao lineage? One elder said, his heart racing. The others nodded in agreement. Bo Duan, please share your thoughts, Ji Yuanzhong permitted, acknowledging Ji Bo Duan's inquiry. To be candid, the esteemed ancestor of our lineage once received intelligence regarding a descendant in a certain lower realm who has strayed from the path of righteousness, and thus dispatched a sovereign to investigate. However, that sovereign met their demise in the lower realm. The elders trembled with unease. How could a sovereign perish in the lower realm, where only minor mortal practitioners reside? Moreover, does the heavenly law not prohibit sovereigns from descending? Ji Yuanzhong listened intently to Ji Bodu's narration, his cold gaze flickering with discontent. He had initially believed this to be mere conjecture from Ji Bodu, only to discover that this branch had taken it upon themselves to descend in search of someone, which was a clear violation of the ancient ancestors' edicts. Ji Bodu continued, expressing that, inexplicably, that lower realm had suddenly vanished one day. However, it can be assured that the regions of Huangzhou and Wanyazu correspond to its ascension point. Therefore, I believe, enough, no more. Ji Yuanzhong interjected. This topic was indeed sensitive, and further discussion would yield no benefit to the Ji family. It is now confirmed that he is an outsider to our clan. How to handle this matter remains a question. What are your thoughts, esteemed elders? Ji Yuanzhong inquired once more. If it were up to me, we should suppress him directly and bring his forces under our control, exclaimed a radical elder. It is said that he has acquired an unparalleled weapon from the Mingshan, a treasure of which our clan possesses few. We can demand its surrender. Opinions varied widely on how to respond, with equal support for both suppression and peaceful integration, yet ultimately, no flawless strategy emerged. During this discourse, Ji Bodu also suggested enlisting the aid of other factions for probing, But Ji Yuanzhong dismissed that idea as well. With a decisive strike of his jade ruler upon the table, Ji Yuanzhong silenced the murmurs. In my view, we could invite him to the Ji family's once-in-a-millennium sacred banquet, where you may test his disposition towards our clan. Should his stance be favorable, I would consent to a peaceful integration. If not, esteemed elders may deal with him as you see fit. What say you? The elders nodded in agreement. Truly, he is the head of the family. This is a splendid course of action. Let us abide by the patriarch's decision. The meeting adjourned, and the elders departed in succession. As Ji Bodu exited the main hall, a glint of cold light flashed in his eyes. He conjured a sound-transmitting jade talisman, which transformed into a streak of light, soaring towards the horizon. Chapter 112. The journey begins within the imperial palace of Xianqing. Ji Xian sat serenely upon a cushion, immersed in his cultivation. Behind him, the ethereal aura of the true intent of immortality emanated a hazy radiance, the essence of the immortal path spreading forth. Nearly 3 months had passed since his expedition to Wanyazu. During this interval, Ji Xian had elevated his cultivation to the 6th level of the Great Sage Realm and refined a portion of the chaotic energy within the Chaos Lotus Seed. He slowly opened his eyes and extended his right hand. A ray of chaotic light, measuring a foot in length, materialized at his fingertip, shimmering and flowing with the essence of the great Tao, seemingly capable of erasing all in its path. Indeed, this Chaos Lotus Seed is remarkable. Having allowed the chaotic Tao patterns to undergo a transformation, Ji Xian gazed upon the fruits of his months of diligent cultivation with great satisfaction. Previously, the chaotic Tao patterns could only be applied to the surface of his body, enhancing other Taos. Now, they can be wielded as a formidable technique in their own right. As for this imperial coffin, Ji Xian waved his hand, revealing the ancient bronze coffin before him. This grand coffin turned out to be merely a secondary coffin. Upon closer inspection, Ji Xian discerned that this imperial coffin was but a subsidiary, and there should be a corresponding main coffin. Nevertheless, even this secondary coffin was considered an extreme weapon. Extreme weapons signify the utmost limit of armaments, encompassing those of quasi-emperor grade and above. Clang, clang, clang. A sound of knocking echoed from outside the imperial palace. With a thought, Ji Xian commanded the palace doors to open. Master, the ghostly energy within me remains difficult to suppress. Sun Huang scratched his head, expressing his frustration. Ji Xian activated his divine sight, instantly comprehending Sun Huang's predicament. Similar to the battle god domain, Sun Huang's body had also formed a divine and demonic realm. The golden ancient characters of the battle Saint Law floated on one side of the divine realm, while the overwhelming ghostly energy filled the demonic realm. Sun Huang had lingered too long in the uncertain divine sea, and the ghostly energy from Ghost Mountain had already merged with his essence. Moreover, the battle Saint Law had not been cultivated to perfection, rendering it incapable of constantly suppressing the ghostly energy. It seems I must procure a treasure to help you calm this. Ji Xian began to fiddle with the primordial purple gold gourd. Suddenly, he noticed a golden speck that drew his attention. The Bodhi seed bestowed by Emperor Shitian radiated a rich Buddhist essence. Golden Buddhist light, like delicate gauze, enveloped the surface of the Bodhi seed, exuding a sacred aura. This is for you. Ji Xian deftly sent the golden Bodhi seed flying into Sun Huang's embrace. Ding. Detected that the host has gifted the treasure Bodhi seed X1, triggering a 1,550,000 fold return. Acquired immortal tree Bodhi tree X1. This is the Buddhist treasure. The Bodhi seed. Sun Huang recognized it immediately. Oh, you haven't even stepped outside of the Wanyao prefecture. How do you know about Buddhism? Ji Xian inquired, somewhat astonished. Over 1,000 years ago, an old monk pondered the Tao upon my head for decades, and he also shielded me from bird droppings for years, Sun Huang replied earnestly. But master, such a precious item, why not keep it for yourself? Ji Xian was taken aback. Me? I'm fine with just anything. He waved his hand casually. And a Bodhi tree several dozen feet tall materialized behind him. Its crown was adorned with countless golden Bodhi seeds, illuminating the interior of the imperial palace with a golden glow. The atmosphere grew awkward for Sun Huang. Suddenly, a resounding dragon roar echoed from outside, followed by a surge of sacred master-level energy soaring into the sky, spreading for miles. Wow. Finally, a breakthrough. You damn monkey, where are you? Come out for a decisive battle. This time, there's no disparity in cultivation. Let us see how you can defeat me. Ji Xian helplessly shook his head and pushed Sun Huang outside. As the palace doors closed, he returned to his quietude. In the blink of an eye, several months had passed. During this time, numerous powerful divine consciousnesses had flown by, attempting to probe the secrets of the Xiantian Dao sect. But Ji Xian repelled them all one by one. Indeed, such matters cannot be suppressed, Ji Xian murmured softly. Young master, someone from the external Ji family seeks an audience. Ao Tian conveyed through sound transmission. The Ji family? Ji Xian activated his divine gaze and looked outwards. Outside the Jinian Mountain, a line of elegantly dressed members of the Ji family stood there, confronting Sun Huang. Hey, you monkey with a face like a thunder god. Hurry up and let your master come out to receive the decree. One of the Ji family members said arrogantly. What are you to issue commands to my Xintian Dao sect? Sun Huang's face was filled with fury, his fiery red hair bristling. Aotian beside him was equally displeased. If it weren't for the suspicion that these individuals were related to the young master, he would have already dealt with them ruthlessly. How bold. A newly established sect daring to show disdain towards the ancient aristocracy. Do you not fear being suppressed? Just let him come out and receive the decree without all this nonsense. Be careful, or we will summon the elders to subdue you. The Ji family members shouted in unison. Sun Huang, well aware of Ji Xian's temperament, had already drawn his ebony staff, preparing for battle. We have traveled from the other side of the 3,000 states, tirelessly for over half a year. According to the hierarchy, you should receive us with the highest courtesy. Exactly. At these words, veins bulged on Sun Huang's forehead. Who could tolerate such insolence? Leave one breath for the leader, the rest are at your discretion. Ji Xian's voice echoed from the mountaintop, sounding as sacred as a celestial chant. The unseen pressure made the Ji family members' hearts tremble. Delightful. Sun Huang let out a long howl and swung the iron staff forward. Damn it, do you Xintian Dao sect truly dare to strike? Seeing Sun Huang and Aotian striding forward, the Ji family members retreated in haste. How could that be? I, old Sun, have always relied on virtue to command respect. Sun Huang's smile was sinister, radiating murderous intent. Run. The Ji family members, without hesitation, tore through the void, preparing to flee. Where do you think you're going? Sun Huang swung his iron staff with immense force, shattering the void tunnel with each strike. Puff, puff, puff. Several disciples were caught in the chaotic currents of the void, torn apart and dying instantly. You rascally monkey, how dare you attack the Ji family? Do you wish to ruin your standing in the realm? One disciple shouted in panic. Bang. In the next moment, that disciple was obliterated on the spot. Weren't you just saying you would command respect through virtue? The leading disciple instantly panicked, realizing the grave peril they were in. Command respect through virtue? Sun Huang was taken aback. Indeed, it is through virtue. He extended one side of the iron staff towards the disciple, revealing a large character for virtue inscribed at the tip. What the hell? The leading disciple cursed. Just then, a resonant sound echoed from the heavens. Sensing something, Sun Huang immediately halted, standing quietly to the side. Above the firmament, the thick clouds gradually parted. Ji Xian stepped out from within, his body light and ethereal, resembling a celestial being, untainted by dust. State your intentions, he commanded, his divine voice resonating in the hearts of all present. Predecessor, I. The leading disciple's legs began to tremble uncontrollably as he stumbled forward. 2 years hence, the Ji family is set to host a grand banquet, hoping that esteemed seniors could represent the Xintian Dao sect. Time has slipped away, and now merely a year and a half remains. He gazed at the man before him, towering like a deity, feeling a momentary daze, his words faltering. Perhaps even their quasi-emperor ancestor lacks such an aura. I understand, your efforts are appreciated. Ji Xian smiled gently. I humbly request that you allow me a moment. Suddenly, before the foremost disciple could finish his sentence, he was engulfed by a surge of violet flames. So cold, so cold. The violet flames enveloped him entirely, and he was soon reduced to a pile of ice shards. Prepare the carriage, we must depart. Young master, is it wise to proceed given the Ji family's rudeness? Aotian questioned, a hint of confusion in his voice. To exit the 3,000 Dao states, we must first pass through the Ji family's threshold. Prepare the carriage. Yes. Chapter 113. Qingguang City. The gilded ancient war chariot thundered across the mountains and rivers of the 3,000 states, an unstoppable force. After a month of travel, Ji Xian and his companions had departed from the Wanzhou, making their way toward the heart of the 3,000 states. The ancient Ji family, a linchpin among all powers within the 3,000 states, is situated at the very center, monopolizing a broad dragon vein. Young master, we've traversed but one state. Yet it has taken over a month. How long until we reach our destination in these 3,000 states? Aotian lay lazily upon the yoke, his eyes heavy with sleep. Ji Xian remained silent for a protracted moment. Suddenly, a red flash streaked across the night sky, hurtling towards the ancient war chariot. As the crimson light dissipated, Sun Huang leapt onto the chariot's front board. Master, I have gathered information. We are in Ningzhou. 5,000 miles away lies an ancient city called Qingguang. The city boasts a long-distance teleportation array, which would significantly reduce our travel time. Sun Huang reported with a bow. Very well. Ji Xian's voice floated from the carriage, light and resonant. Aotian, let us proceed there. Aotian extended his consciousness, swiftly pinpointing the location of Qingguang City. As Sun Huang passed by Aotian, he purposefully nudged him. Humph, little brat. Aotian winced at the remark. Damn it. During a previous exchange with Sun Huang, Aotian inadvertently revealed his age. It's hilarious. A creature of such noble blood, yet barely 10 years old. Truly a mudfish. The taunt lingered in his mind, refusing to fade. The golden ancient war chariot transformed into a beam of divine light, racing towards the ancient city at the horizon, akin to a brilliant meteor illuminating the inky night sky. Moments later, the gilded chariot entered the city. The opulent and imposing chariot drew immediate attention as it appeared on the bustling streets. Whose magnificent vehicle is this? Such potent sacred energy. Best keep your distance. The Taichu ancient mine seems to have resurfaced, and Xinguang City, as a teleportation hub, is currently rife with unrest. Indeed, once the teleportation array activates, it attracts numerous forces, and hidden currents are stirring. It is wise to avoid entanglement. Surrounding cultivators engaged in hushed discussions, their eyes filled with covetous glances directed at the ancient war chariot, as though plotting something. In the heart of the city of Azure Light, there stands a colossal stone platform. This obsidian structure is intricately engraved with numerous patterns of spatial pathways, flanked on either side by towering dragon pillars crafted from spatial stone. This platform, dedicated to long-distance spatial transmission, boasts a history spanning a millennium. It is said that the G family constructed this platform to enhance the transportation of people and resources. Esteemed guests, the platform will open periodically, with the next transmission scheduled for noon tomorrow. Please be patient for just one more day. An individual clad in a black robe addressed the arriving cultivators at the entrance. Young master, should we seek an inn for a brief respite? Aotian inquired, bowing slightly as he positioned himself beside Ji Xian. Yes, you may arrange it as you see fit, Ji Xian replied, exhibiting an air of calm indifference. Aotian glanced sideways at Sun Huowang, who was busily nibbling on a peach, and a triumphant expression crossed his face. Sun Huowang, however, wore a look of disdain. Humph, look at how proud you are, you little brat. That night, the group settled into an inn. The evening in Azure Light City was extraordinary, illuminated by a dazzling spectacle. Above the stone platform, 3 celestial bodies danced in harmonious orbit, emanating beams of azure divine light that enveloped the entire city. On the stargazing platform, 3 individuals sat side by side. Truly, this is the upper realm. The combined area of those 3 stars rivals that of the Xiantian realm. Aotian pondered, overwhelmed by the vastness of the upper realm, which rendered the Xiantian realm akin to a mere grain of sand in an endless desert. Sun Huowang, intrigued, wrapped an arm around Aotian's neck. Come on, tell me, what was the upper realm like before you ascended? He expressed a keen interest in Ji Xian's origins. After a lengthy description from Aotian, Sun Huowang found himself unsatisfied with the answers. Yet, he was nonetheless taken aback. Despite Ji Xian's seemingly ordinary background, he achieved the prestigious title of Great Sage at the age of over 30, which was nothing short of remarkable. Such a pace of cultivation is unparalleled throughout history. Even the ancient emperors could not compare. Contemplating Ji Xian's astonishing talent, Sun Huowang fell silent, realizing that this matter was increasingly daunting to his self-esteem. Aotian continued to chatter, mentioning the names and identities of characters like Huoling Air, Ling Yun, Mou Wei, Mou Ling, and Ing Zhang. Meanwhile, Ji Xian listened with closed eyes, smiles gracing his lips as he recalled the figures of Mou Wei and Mou Ling. One wondered if those 2 little ones were diligently practicing their cultivation. With each name Sun Huowang heard, his heart tightened. Initially believing himself to be the foremost disciple of the Xiantian Dao sect, capable of flaunting his status before many junior disciples, he now realized he was merely one among many esteemed seniors. A wave of disappointment washed over him. Humph, just a bunch of country bumpkins from the lower realms. At that moment, an unsettling voice emerged from the stargazing platform nearby. Sun Huowang's golden eyes flickered with a glint of menace as he turned to look. A group of wealthy scions had gathered, reveling in stargazing and merriment. Hey, are you all seeking trouble? His voice was rough and laden with authority. Foul creature, what audacity! Do you dare to challenge me? I swear I shall cleave you in twain with but a single stroke. The speaker stumbled as he rose unsteadily from the floor. Intoxicated to the point of disorientation, Ji Xian remained undisturbed by the discordant voice, continuing his meditative repose. Sun Huowang refrained from provoking any discord, without Ji Xian's indication. He dared not act recklessly. Pathetic fool. Come, brothers, let us drink on. The group of wealthy young nobles resumed their revelry, exchanging toasts and idle chatter. Have you heard the news about the Taichu ancient mine? One of the young men inquired, his voice laced with excitement. Indeed, I have. Another interjected, belching audibly. All manner of cultivators are abuzz with talk. It seems as though the Taichu ancient mine has come to life, with treasures bursting forth, eluding capture. Sun Huowang listened intently, his interest piqued by tales of such mineral wealth. Indeed, many cultivators from the north claimed to have stumbled upon extraordinary ores, fetching exorbitant prices at auction, potentially worth tens of thousands of spirit crystals. The mention of such riches invigorated the assembly. Tens of thousands of spirit crystals could amount to millions of top-tier spirit stones. This is a fortune, another exclaimed. Why not wait for the teleportation array to open tomorrow and venture to the northern ancient mine? We might strike it rich. Yes, such an opportunity is rare indeed. The group clamored in agreement. Perhaps you should reconsider. The risks are severe. A voice from the corner cautioned. Why do you say that? Though the ores are precious, the Taichu ancient mine is perilously dangerous. Thousands of cultivators have perished within, transformed into mere blood essence, consumed by the primordial beasts dwelling therein. The speaker raised his cup and took a hearty gulp. A collective gasp echoed through the room. How can this be? Did not the primordial beasts face extinction? One noble gasped, fear evident in his eyes. Who can say? Word from the Ji family suggests a resurgence of calamities, a revival of all that was once deemed myth. At this, Ji Xian's eyes flew open, radiating a tricolored divine light that pierced the air like a blade. He turned his gaze and commanded, bring them forth. Chapter 114. Visitors from beyond the stars on the star observation platform. Several affluent youths were bound and bruised, kneeling in a row before Ji Xian. Master, I have dealt with them, Sun Huang proclaimed, pride swelling in his chest. Ao Tian cast a sidelong glance at him, remarking, indeed, you excel at villainy. Ji Xian sat imperiously in his rattan chair, his demeanor cold and detached. Now, speak of the Taichu ancient mine. The young men appeared dazed, still reeling from the recent altercation. I am addressing you. Sun Huang brandished a rod, pressing it against the throats of the assembled. The group's eyes widened in terror as clarity returned with startling rapidity. Elder, we have only heard rumors. One stammered. Indeed. The Taichu ancient mine is far too perilous for us to approach. They lamented. Ji Xian waved his hand dismissively. It suffices to share what you know. Should you prove unguarded, I may allow you a path to salvation. The kneeling youths exhaled in relief. Over 2 months ago, news of the ancient mine's revival spread throughout the northern territories. On that day, the mountains trembled, as if something had awakened. Many rare and precious ores came to life, bursting forth from the earth and soaring in all directions. Numerous nearby cultivators claimed to have stumbled upon extraordinary treasures. But upon further investigation, they discovered a scene reminiscent of hell on earth. The area surrounding the ancient mine was littered with the corpses of cultivators from various clans, aptly described as a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. Some had reported witnessing long-extinct ancient creatures emerging from the mine, ruthlessly slaughtering countless cultivators. The one recounting this chilling tale tightened his throat, seemingly filled with trepidation. However, other cultivators stepped forward to assert that no ancient beings existed. Rather, they had fallen victim to an ancient formation, sacrificed while still alive. Ji Xian nodded, immediately struck by a thought. As the situation escalated, it coincided with the Ji clan's search for ores near the ancient mine, as they prepared for the sacred land banquet. Thus, the Ji clan swiftly intervened, quelling the chaos and sealing off the region, which restored stability to the surrounding states. Indeed, it was thanks to the ancient clan that they had saved the human race across 3,000 states countless times. At the mere mention of the Ji clan, several wealthy young scions displayed expressions of reverence and longing. Is there more? Ji Xian's melodic voice resonated, bringing a sense of calm. Without our predecessors, this is all that remains. We are merely relaying hearsay. They implored, recalling the recent thrashing they had received. Ji Xian surveyed the group. All youthful cultivators of merely 1,000 years, their cultivation at the initial stage of the Saint Realm. Huang, handle these individuals, Ji Xian instructed, turning away, no longer wishing to engage. Understood, Master, Huang replied with a sly grin, bundling the group together with one hand. He stepped aside and asked one of them, quickly tell me what the ores that flew out looked like. Whoever pleases me with their answer shall be set free. A young man clad in a blue brocade robe emerged from beneath the others, eager to speak. Suddenly, a deafening roar echoed above Qingguang City. The cultivators within felt the disturbance and looked up in unison. From the northern sky, a white streak of light appeared, imbued with a chilling aura of menace. Swiftly approaching the city. Look out, the blue-clad youth exclaimed. A meteor is descending, we must prevent its fall. We're the Saint Realm cultivators. Boom. The white meteor accelerated downward, engulfed in flames. Swiftly, several streaks of light shot into the sky, each unleashing their magical artifacts to halt the meteor's descent. In an instant, copper mirrors, long whips, and great cauldrons surrounded Qingguang City, intertwining their divine lights to form a formidable defensive array. With a thunderous crash, the meteor collided with the array, producing a cataclysmic sound that reverberated through the ears of everyone present, as if their eardrums had been torn asunder. The unstoppable white meteor shattered the protective formation in an instant, hurtling directly toward the 3 suspended stars. Heavens! The defensive array has been breached. Retreat! The sudden upheaval startled everyone. A multitude of cultivators hastily withdrew from the city center, retreating to the periphery. Boom! Once again, a thunderous roar echoed as 3 colossal stars in the firmament were shattered in an instant. Countless fragments of celestial bodies plummeted, with thick magma oozing forth, revealing glimmering cores that radiated a brilliant luminescence. The white meteorite, having been cushioned, descended steadily upon the city, toppling a myriad of houses and sending debris flying amidst the rising clouds of dust. The great star has shattered. The once suspended star, lingering for millennia, had crumbled, prompting countless cultivators to murmur in astonishment. The city of Qingguang was named after these 3 great stars, and now their destruction evoked a wave of lamentation among the populace. However, the cultivators within the city soon regained their composure. Those 3 great stars had been refined by a sage from eons past. How could they possibly be so easily obliterated? Indeed, the hardness of the stars rivaled that of a perfected sacred weapon. Had the white meteorite perhaps been tainted by an aura of extreme might? Numerous cultivators of the sacred realm approached, eager to uncover the truth. Surrounding the white meteorite was a palpable aura, steeped in boundless malice, chilling to the bone. Suddenly, a shrill scream pierced the air. A cultivator of the sacred realm staggered from the ruins, blood oozing from his body, his sacred power dissipating gradually. His visage was grotesque, as if marked by some ominous force. "Do not approach that stone," he cried, before collapsing amidst the rubble, his vitality extinguished. This gruesome sight left many would-be explorers in a state of shock. Everyone stepped back. "I shall investigate." From the crowd emerged an elderly figure. His hair and beard white as snow, clad in a brown hemp robe, his countenance weathered. Yet, none dared to underestimate him, parting ways to allow his passage. Behind him hovered 3 divine rings. "A sacred king is making a move," some murmured. "Indeed, it is wise that we refrain from interference." The onlookers retreated to the outskirts of the city, wary of delving too deep into the unfolding events. The sacred king stood aloft, moving forward with deliberate steps. His feet hovered several yards above the ground, each step imprinting the void with a rich essence of the Tao. "Come forth," the elder commanded, extending his hand. A spectral azure hand materialized, reaching for the white meteorite. Clang! As the white meteorite touched the ground, it quivered slightly, emanating a mysterious force that repelled the sacred king's grasp. How could this be? Even a sacred king cannot seize it? Murmurs rippled through the distant cultivators. "Allow me." A frail, aged voice resonated from the western district. An elderly matron appeared, closing in on the white meteorite, less than 1,000 yards away. With a resounding thud, she conjured a grand net, deflecting the elder's power to the side and swiftly enveloping the white meteorite. Its radiance began to dim, seemingly on the verge of being claimed. "You," the elder exclaimed, his eyes wide with fury. Dear friend, this grand net of mine is but a half artifact of supreme might. The worthy shall claim it. Forgive me." The matron's wrinkled face twisted into an unsightly grin. "Let me see what this treasure truly is." Slowly, she began to retract the net. Crack! At that moment, the net suddenly shattered, and the white meteorite soared skyward, darting towards a distant location. "The stone has come to life and has flown away on its own," the old woman exclaimed. "No, it has been taken by someone," the old man added, gazing skyward. In the heights, Ji Xian stood gracefully, his robes billowing, as he wielded the power of creation, seemingly nurturing a realm of his own, effortlessly controlling the meteorite. "Oh, it turns out to be a yang stone for sacrificial rites. Could this be the celestial opportunity for me to ascend to the throne of an emperor?" Chapter 115. Annihilation in the lofty expanse. Ji Xian stood serenely, scrutinizing the sacrificial stone in his hand. Below, the old woman approached with a scowl, her anger palpable. "Fellow cultivator, this may not be appropriate. This stone already has an owner. Why must you forcibly seize it?" Ji Xian appeared to have ignored her inquiry. "Alas, I still require half of the Yin stones to complete the sacrificial stone. Only by gathering both can one unlock the imperial altar and obtain the qualification to ascend as an emperor. It seems I must find time to explore the primordial ancient mine," Ji Xian mused. "What an arrogant cultivator." The old woman seethed, her 3 divine rings vibrating as the debris around her shattered into powder. She had traversed Ningzhou for millennia. When had she ever endured such humiliation? "Return the treasure at once." The old woman stepped into the void, leaping into the air and appearing before Ji Xian in an instant. Ji Xian lazily lifted his eyelids, finally noticing her presence. "What is it?" The 2 calm words ignited the powder keg of the old woman's fury. "What is it? How dare you ask? I captured this treasure with my perfected holy weapon, yet you attempt to seize it by brute force. Hand it over at once, and compensate me for my perfected holy weapon." Ji Xian squinted, addressing the old woman. "You old wretch, did you not proclaim that the capable shall claim it? While I am in good spirits, be gone." With a sweep of his sleeve, a surge of profound holy power erupted like a tempest, sending the old woman hurtling back over 100 miles, with the surrounding structures reduced to mere dust. Coughing violently, the old woman felt black blood trickling from her mouth. "This person is formidable," she thought in shock. "Huh, you old hag, why must you play the part of the big bad wolf?" A voice emerged as the old man who had been in contention stepped forth from the void. "I have brought several friends to assist you in seizing the treasure, but the artifacts on that white-clad cultivator belong to us. Is that agreeable?" As he spoke, several other cultivators of the Holy King realm appeared, 3 in total. The old woman shot him a fierce glare. He was the supreme elder of a major sect near Qingguang City, with whom she was somewhat acquainted. "Greedy old fool. You shall have the final say this time." The old woman flicked her sleeves and soared toward the center of the city. "Friends, let us proceed." The old man called to his companions. In the heart of the city, Ji Xian was analyzing the sacrificial stone with the domain of creation. It is indeed a unique piece, never used by the ancient emperors. Swish, swish, swish. Several streaks of light darted across, and figures converged. Ji Xian lifted his head, narrowing his eyes. Truly unaware of their mortality, they dare return. "Boy, you speak so brazenly. Return that meteorite at once." The old woman seethed with rage, nearly pressing her fingertip against Ji Xian's nose. The elderly man beside him chuckled and said, "Young friend, it would be wise for you to surrender that fallen star, lest you offend the surrounding great sections." Sun Huang, anxiously rushing from the stargazing platform, exclaimed, "Master, let me handle this. Damn it. Is there really someone who can outshine me in arrogance?" Ji Xian restrained him with a hand. "Esteemed guests, do you have anything further to say?" His fingertips shimmered with strands of chaotic energy, cascading down like silken threads and willow branches. What does this mean? Several individuals were taken aback. Why were they being questioned in return? Nothing more? Lao Bai declared, "I have given you a chance." Ji Xian gently raised his right hand, pointing his fingertips at the crowd. The chaotic energy rooted itself in the void, relentlessly devouring everything in its path. "Make your move," the elderly man bellowed. Thrusting forth an outstretched palm, the azure hand transformed into a small mountain, nearly sealing off the entire central district. "Chaotic ray," Ji Xian murmured, unleashing a dazzling beam of divine light from his fingertips. Though the beam was no wider than a finger, each inch brimmed with overwhelming destructive intent. Whoosh! The chaotic ray swiftly pierced through the blue palm, shattering it to pieces. "What is this?" The elder summoned all his strength to resist, yet still. The chaotic ray penetrated his forehead. With a sickening pop, the aged head exploded, blood and brain matter splattering everywhere. As the elder's primordial spirit and consciousness were obliterated in an instant. "He is dead." The elderly woman nearby gasped in shock. Although this old man was not as powerful as she, he was nonetheless a prominent figure in Ningzhou. To be so easily killed was unfathomable. "Friend, let us talk this over." She hastily called out to Ji Xian. "It is too late." Ji Xian shot forth 2 more chaotic rays, piercing through the remaining 2 or 3 holy kings, who fell on the spot. "As for you," Ji Xian began to stride towards the elderly woman. Thud, thud. The entire Qingguang city began to tremble, as the vast forces of the surrounding mountains and rivers were suddenly grasped by Ji Xian. In an instant, all of heaven and earth seemed to quiver with each of Ji Xian's steps. An immense pressure descended like a thousand thunderstorm, contorting the frail body of the elderly woman. "Friend, spare me. I am the Grand Elder of the Zhentian sect, my sect's ancestor." "Ah." Her piercing wails echoed throughout Qingguang City, sending shivers down the spines of countless onlookers. Heaven help us, did I just witness 4 holy kings being slain? In an instant. Anticipating unrest in the coming days. No one could have predicted that 5 holy kings would perish so suddenly. It was utterly outrageous. The gathered cultivators exchanged incredulous remarks, astonished by the event. "Impossible, absolutely impossible. That was our sect's supreme elder, who has lived for tens of thousands of years. How will I report this to the sect master?" Lamented a disciple of the Zhentian sect. Ji Xian flew past the remnants of the fallen star, casting a glance. "What a pity, the star core has been destroyed. Had it not been so, it could have been refined for the Xiantian realm to elevate its world level." At that moment, from around the corner of a nearby alley, a figure lurked in the shadows, observing Ji Xian intently. Sensing something, Ji Xian turned to follow the direction of the gaze. The shadow paused momentarily before vanishing into the night. "Ah, mere vermin who only know how to skulk and hide." He let out a cold chuckle and soared towards the stargazing platform. Midnight. On the platform, Sun Huang was bouncing around Ji Xian, imploring, "Master, let me see. What exactly is this stone? Let me, old son, have a look." Ji Xian pushed him away with his hand, exclaiming, "Away with you, you mischievous monkey. This is a ritual stone. Should your cultivation be insufficient, a mere touch could lead to your demise. You may gaze upon it once you attain the status of an emperor." Disheartened, Sun Huang sulked to the side, pouting, "Humph, I am over 3,000 years old. Why do you still treat me like a child?" In the corner, Ao Tian could not contain himself, bursting into laughter. "What are you laughing at?" Within a certain tower in the city, a man clad in a tight black suit knelt, addressing the leader. It appears that the strength of that individual exceeds our capabilities. He was the same cultivator who had lingered at the alley's entrance. The man in the black robe seated before him remained deep in thought. "It seems we have no choice." With that, he withdrew a scepter-like artifact from behind him. "Is that the void-breaking divine scepter?" The black-clad cultivator questioned in astonishment. "Indeed. Our own strength is inadequate. We must resort to this means." The black-clad cultivator inquired further, "Is this bestowed upon us by the Lord of the Hall?" "No. It was given by our employer, to ensure our success without fail. Tomorrow, as we traverse the void, we shall act." Understood. Chapter 116. Little Doe the following dawn. Numerous ferry boats began to appear throughout the city of Qingguang. These boats were specifically designed for distant crossings through the void, each manned by a ferryman. The journey from the southern to the central regions of the 3,000 states spanned countless miles. Such a distance was insurmountable for ordinary cultivators, thus giving rise to the profession of ferrymen, who adeptly navigated the spatial rules through years of practice. With their involvement, Qingguang City grew increasingly lively. In the heart of the city hiss. How did these 3 massive stars shatter? A newly arrived ferryman gazed in astonishment at the remnants of celestial bodies suspended in the air. "Ah, do not mention it. A great battle occurred in the city yesterday, resulting not only in the shattering of the stars, but also the death of 5 holy kings. A cultivator lingering near the ferry boats remarked. 5 holy kings slain. The ferryman's eyes widened in disbelief, akin to dragon's eyes. Perhaps we should reconsider this job. The slaying of 5 holy kings is too terrifying, exclaimed a burly man with dark skin, drawing back his neck. Humph, Li Hei, you stout fellow, so robust yet so timid. Little Doe is not flustered. Why are you? A nearby ferryman teased. In a corner, a frail youth was fiddling with an old ferry boat. His face was waxy, his hair dry and lifeless, projecting an air of exhaustion. The other ferrymen turned their gaze towards him. Hey, Little Doe, still out here working? Aren't you going home to be with your mother? One of the ferrymen called out jovially. The boy, known as Little Doe, looked up and replied, Oh, it's you, Brother Wang. My mother is busy with those oars. If I work for another year, I'll have saved enough to marry. Little Doe, it would be wise for you to serve me well. With your physique, can you truly satisfy a new bride? Is that not so? The provocateur among the crowd jested. Ha ha. Laughter erupted around them. Little Doe, feeling a bit embarrassed, forced a smile and resumed fiddling with his ferry boat. The sun rose gradually, casting its light across the sea of clouds, hanging high in the sky. Noon approached. Young master, it is time for us to depart. Aotian knocked on Ji Xian's door. In the city center. The teleportation stone platform was adorned with various ferry boats, with ferry operators standing at the front, incessantly calling out to passers-by. Many renowned ferry boats were bustling with a multitude of cultivators eager to board, while others languished in neglect. Observing the throngs at the nearby stalls, Little Doe felt a pang of discontent at the stark contrast to his own desolate situation. Little Doe, perhaps you should consider a career change. You haven't even broken through to the sacred realm. Who would dare board your boat? A nearby ferry operator scoffed. Exactly, another echoed. Crossing the void over long distances is all about safety. While ferry operators may generally possess lower cultivation levels, not having transcended the sacred realm is a significant drawback. Suddenly, a resounding rumble echoed as a golden ancient war chariot turned the corner, its wheels rolling with a thunderous might. Pedestrians hurriedly stepped aside, intimidated by the imposing presence of the chariot. My goodness, whose esteemed presence is this? How extravagant. Just a single piece of gold from that chariot would ensure I never have to work as a ferry operator again. As the chariot opened, Ji Xian emerged gracefully. Clad in pristine white robes, untainted by dust, the wide sleeves and his flowing black hair danced with the wind, resembling an ethereal immortal detached from the mundane world. The ferry operators were instantly captivated, recognizing the wealth of this individual. Just as one operator contemplated approaching, a nearby cultivator restrained him. Hey, are you seeking death? How dare you offend him? A sacred realm cultivator admonished. The ferry operator, puzzled, inquired, What do you mean? This individual single-handedly dispatched 5 sacred kings yesterday. The operator recoiled, hastily retreating. Such a person was not someone he dared to discuss money with. Aotian scanned the surroundings and turned to Ji Xian, young master. There are many people today. Should we not pay a premium to secure a ferry boat? Ji Xian's gaze fell upon a particular corner, that one. Aotian followed Ji Xian's line of sight, his lips twitching. Young master, are you certain? That flying boat is in such disrepair, it might undermine your status. Shall we not choose one with more passengers? Ji Xian shook his head. No need, I prefer tranquility. Aotian stepped back, choosing to remain silent. The breath of primordial beginnings, Ji Xian murmured as he approached Little Doe in the corner. Sensing someone approaching, Little Doe lifted his gaze and spotted Ji Xian and his entourage. Gentlemen, are you here to take a boat? He hurriedly inquired, bowing and scraping. Prepare yourself, for our young master specifically desires to board your vessel. Aotian patted him on the shoulder. This declaration captured the attention of all the ferry operators. Oh, Little Doe has actually secured a passenger. Who on earth is so blind? The ferryman cast a glance at Aotian's resplendent battle armor, a trickle of saliva escaping his lips. Indeed, foolishness accompanies wealth, he remarked with a sardonic tone. Enough, enough, do hush now. That is a formidable figure from the sacred realm. An attendant quickly covered his mouth. Sir, this journey will likely cost around 10,000 exquisite spirit stones. And you will need to pay me a mere 100 inferior spirit crystals, Xiao Dou said, bowing and rubbing his hands together. Sun Huang gazed up at the dilapidated ferry, his eyes wide as saucers. Can this rickety boat carry passengers? Rest assured, esteemed sir, although our equipment may be lacking, our skills are undeniably robust. Sun Huang pouted. Yet as this was Ji Xian's decision, he refrained from voicing further objections. Ji Xian retrieved a purple spirit crystal, tossing it into Xiao Dou's hands. No need for change. The purple crystal, the size of a palm, was inscribed with intricate spirit-gathering patterns, radiating an immense aura of spiritual energy. This is a superior spirit crystal, Xiao Dou exclaimed. His eyes fixed on the purple gem, his voice rising in astonishment. His exclamation drew the attention of nearby ferrymen. Goodness, how extravagant. This single piece is worth what I earn in a year. Though Xiao Dou was somewhat foolish and inexperienced, he was not without his fortunes, as one elderly ferryman noted. Alas, do admire, but do not drool. Xiao Dou, exhilarated, hurriedly lowered the ladder. Esteemed sirs, please step inside. He faced the envious and eager gazes, puffing out his chest with uncontainable excitement. I've truly struck gold. Once this trip is done, I shall return home and wed. Esteemed cultivators and ferrymen, the interstate teleportation portal is about to commence. Please prepare yourselves, announced a robed cultivator atop a stone platform. In an instant, a symphony of vessels resonated as they soared into the sky. Following Ji Xian's flying vessel, a black craft pursued closely. A tremendous glow emanated from the stone platform, as vast and profound spatial forces surged forth from the formation, enveloping all vessels in an instant. As the runes on the platform flickered, the earth trembled in response. Once the brilliance faded, all ferrying vessels vanished from sight. Chapter 117. Ambush. The teleportation array activated, and tens of thousands of skiffs entered the spatial tunnel simultaneously. In the boundless void, numerous white particles drifted, shimmering like stars scattered across the night sky. This was the manifestation of spatial laws, woven together by the ancient formation to create a tunnel spanning millions of miles. What a grand feat to construct such a passage. Indeed, the expenditure on spatial stones alone is calculated in the billions. Truly, the Ji family is remarkable. The cultivators entering the tunnel praised in unison. With a rumbling sound, the vessels took flight, their collective calls echoing as they began their journey. The surrounding white particles transformed into streaks of luminous white light, trailing behind as the vessels accelerated. Esteemed sirs, please take shelter in the cabin. There will be turbulence ahead that may cause harm. Xiao Dou chuckled, holding his pole and glancing back. Ji Xian waved his hand dismissively, saying, "No worries, tend to your vessel." The ferrymen exchanged puzzled glances, directed at Ji Xian. This gentleman undoubtedly exudes affluence. One cannot fathom why he would choose to board a humble vessel. Who can say? The wealthy often indulge in whimsical pursuits. It is said that this tunnel is influenced by an enigmatic force, rendering it exceedingly unstable. One wonders whether this young lad can navigate it adeptly. Indeed, if he manages to preserve his own life, it would be a stroke of luck. The boatmen exchanged remarks, eagerly anticipating a misstep from the young one. Compared to other flying ships, his craft was modest, rising only 2 or 3 stories high. Yet, he piloted it with fervor, gripping the helm firmly. Beads of sweat cascading from his brow and plopping rhythmically onto the deck. From the rear of the dark vessel, a subordinate clad in black inquired, "Captain, why has Ji Xian chosen such a rudimentary craft? Could he have sensed our presence?" The figure draped in black robes shook his head, declaring, "Impossible. Our organization operates with utmost discretion. We have had no prior interactions with him. He could not have become aware of us. We shall proceed according to plan. Once successful, we will escape immediately." Understood. Countless sky-faring vessels surged through the tunnel like streaks of light. The scale of the fleet was imposing, a spectacle of grandeur. Behind the swiftly traversing lights, one could faintly glimpse the cosmos. Thousands of nebulae coalesced into vibrant star fields, resplendent like colorful silk. The heavens and the earth are vast beyond measure. Merely traversing the expanse of 3,000 states could be quantified by the size of the star domains. On the deck, the young lad was fully displaying his professionalism, attempting to engage Ji Xian and his companions in casual conversation. "May I ask how to address you, sir?" he inquired of Ao Tian beside him. "Ao Tian," came the reply. "Ah, then I shall refer to you as young Master Ao." For nearly a month hence, Xiao Dou frequently struck up conversations with Ao Tian. He had also attempted to converse with Ji Xian several times, but received no response. "Oh, I must express my gratitude to that gentleman in white for his generosity," Xiao Dou exclaimed, lifting his head with excitement. "Why is that?" Ao Tian asked in confusion. "It is merely a piece of high-grade spirit crystal. My dear sir, you do not comprehend. For a practitioner of my humble means, a single high-grade spirit crystal can provide me with years of diversion. Navigating the spatial tunnels is fraught with peril. I have an unmarried wife and an elderly mother waiting for me. At last, I can spend time with them." At this, tears of joy welled in Xiao Dou's eyes. "Everyone, be cautious. We are approaching the chaotic turbulence of the void." At that moment, the boatman at the forefront communicated to all, "Gentlemen, you should huddle closer together. The path ahead will be quite tumultuous." Xiao Dou offered a word of caution before resuming his grip on the controls. Suddenly, the darkened expanse of the spatial tunnel erupted into blinding light at its terminus. The brilliance, sharp as a needle, emanated an aura of intimidation. All the boatmen focused intently, exerting their utmost efforts to steer the vessels. The chaotic turbulence of the void represents a terrifying storm within the spatial tunnel, possessing a destructive force so formidable that even titans of the sacred realm cannot fully withstand it. With a rush, thousands of flying vessels surged toward the chaotic turbulence, proceeding cautiously along its periphery, wary of making any rash movements. Due to a slight misstep, one might find themselves engulfed in a terrifying tempest, leading to the destruction of vessels and the loss of lives. "Prepare to strike," commanded the figure cloaked in black to his subordinates. Swiftly, several shadowy figures darted towards the boundary of the tunnel, wielding a club-like artifact, and struck down with great force. The echoing roar of devastation resounded through the dimly lit tunnel. A surging gale, akin to an inky tide, burst through the breach, scattering the fleet of flying vessels into disarray. Damn it, we have incurred heaven's wrath. Gather closely to avoid being swept away, shouted one of the porters. In the cabin, Ji Xian abruptly opened his eyes and vanished in an instant. A practitioner from the Assassin's Divine Dynasty was fervently wielding the void-breaking divine club, tearing into the boundary inch by inch. Suddenly, a pair of golden hands seized his throat. Who is it? His heart plummeted as he turned in alarm. There stood a man in white, treading upon the void, radiating a fiery golden light, exuding an aura of lethal intent. Your methods are ruthlessly malicious. I trust you are prepared to embrace death. The white-clad man spoke with a chilling demeanor, reminiscent of a demon's whisper, sending shivers down his spine. The overwhelming pressure rendered him speechless. Despite his protective divine light, every bone in his body creaked under the strain, threatening to shatter. Quickly act. Detonate the void-breaking divine club. He hurriedly communicated to his comrades in the distance. Crack. In the next moment, the sound of his neck snapping echoed as the golden light penetrated his protective barrier, crushing him into an irregular mass. Ji Xian weighed the club-like artifact in his hand. The secret power of creation surged within it, revealing all its past. Well done, ancient aristocracy, Ji Xian scoffed, a hint of murderous intent leaking forth as he stowed the void-breaking divine club away. Boom, boom, boom. A series of explosions ensued, widening the rift in the spatial boundary. In an instant, not only the gale but also an innumerable torrent of chaotic void energy surged in violently, shredding countless vessels to pieces. Numerous saints lost the protection of their crafts, exposed to the void, and were mercilessly torn apart. Even those of the Saint King realm could not escape their fate. Flee! The figure in black bellowed. With the tempest of the void unleashed, even formidable beings at the Great Sage or Quasi-Emperor level would find it insurmountable. He gathered several members, invoking their secret treasures, ready to break through the void and escape. Can you truly escape? Ji Xian's voice rang out, infused with a tremendous holy power as he charged forward. Clang! He struck out with his palm, swiftly channeling the Void Dao Sutra, instantaneously solidifying the space where they intended to flee. The rumors are true. You have mastered the Void Dao Sutra. You are indeed a scion of the Ji family. The cloaked figure exclaimed in shock. How ironic that the illustrious Assassin's Divine Dynasty, dominating the Dark Realms, would become a servant of the Ji family. Ji Xian's expression turned grave as he pointed several times, unleashing chaotic rays of vibrant light that pierced through the subordinates, obliterating both their bodies and souls. You cannot hold me. The figure in black retreated, delivering a punch that shattered the boundary, unleashing torrents of chaotic void energy towards Ji Xian. The chaotic currents surged forth like divine blades, sharp enough to cleave through all, scattering like feathers in a tempest, cascading through the skies. Ji Xian wore a subtle smile, and with a mere release of imperial intent, shattered all the protective barriers around him. Perish! A colossal void phenomenon surged forth from Ji Xian's hands, a strange black mist that ensnared all the raging winds. You have actually cultivated the imperial scripture to this extent. The figure in the black robe was taken aback by the oncoming void, astonishment etched across his features. How could this be possible with just the Holy Realm? He exclaimed, the Lord will not let you go, even without the Ji family's involvement. The black-robed man was entirely enveloped by the black mist, every inch of him consumed by the void without leaving a trace. After dispatching the assassins from the Divine Dynasty, Ji Xian soared towards the fleet. Countless flying vessels lay nearly annihilated, their wreckage saturating the expanse. On the battered craft, Sun Huang and Ao Tan lay sprawled, legs in the air, having fainted from the tumult. Surely, even so, they couldn't have escaped unscathed? Ji Xian mused as he lifted Ao Tian, tenderly caressing his youthful visage like a doting father. Ao Tian's mouth foamed white, his limbs convulsing, yet he bore no injuries from the chaotic currents. Ji Xian seemed to recall something and turned his gaze toward the bow of the ship. There, he beheld Xiao Dou, kneeling at the forefront, drenched in blood, half of his body utterly shattered. The deck, marred with countless knife marks, was strewn with the remnants of his flesh, a sight of utter despair. He extended one hand forward, clutching a piece of void stone, remnants of the defensive array still faintly visible around him. Chapter 118. Departure on the battered deck. Sun Huang and Ao Tian gradually regained consciousness. Ugh, my head feels like it's splitting. Ao Tian groaned, cradling his forehead, bleary-eyed, a buzzing echoing in his mind. Right. That Xiao Dou. In his fading memories before losing consciousness, a void storm had surged forth, and the frail boy had pushed him aside, single-handedly maneuvering the vessel against the chaotic currents. Suddenly alert, he opened his eyes wide and glanced toward the bow. In the dim void tunnel, a luminous sphere, about 10 feet in diameter, floated amidst a swirling aura of creation. Within, a frail figure faintly emerged. Ji Xian stood amidst the blood, one hand supporting the realm of creation, the other analyzing the shattered space nearby. Young master, master. The two rushed forward. Sun Huang gazed up at the figure within the luminous sphere. Master, can he be saved? Without him, even I, son, with my innate stone spirit, would likely have suffered grievous injuries. Ji Xian replied, His soul has already dissipated significantly. I am in the process of restoring his 3 souls and 7 spirits. There is no need for haste, just a few more days. Days passed in the blink of an eye. During this interval, a few survivors aboard the remaining vessels occasionally awakened, all bearing severe injuries, teetering on the brink of death. The spatial tunnel also exhibited signs of instability. This realm had been fundamentally obliterated, and Ji-Xian's repairs merely delayed its collapse. A small fissure had opened on the boundary, indicating the intrusion of chaotic void currents. With a rush, the aura-laden sphere in Ji-Xian's hand shattered, and Xiao Dou's body began to descend slowly. The remaining matters, you two shall decide. He left those words behind, his garments swirling gracefully as he soared towards the rift in space ahead. The task now was to breach the tunnel and return to reality. Before him, the originally profound and endless tunnel was obstructed by a barrier of white light. The tunnel lay in ruins, the path exhausted. There remained no choice but to forcefully transcend the boundary. Ji-Xian's eyes shimmered with a tricolored divine light, penetrating through all illusions. Subsequently, he communicated with the two behind him, urging, you two, come here, it is time to depart. Sun Huang and Ao Tian swiftly approached, combining their strength to support Xiao Dou. Ji-Xian merely cast a glance at them and said nothing further, which relieved both Sun Huang and Ao Tian. Had Ji-Xian opposed their actions, they would have had no choice but to abandon their modest benefactor. The vast boundary was engulfed in darkness. The once smooth edges of the tunnel were now marred by cracks resembling shattered crystal. Crack! Ji-Xian struck out with his palm, merging the powers of chaos, creation, and space to forcibly carve an opening in the boundary. A towering black vortex appeared instantaneously, unfathomably deep, devoid of any light, seemingly capable of devouring all. At that very moment, the forces within the spatial tunnel became utterly unbalanced, and a torrent of chaotic void surged in once more. The currents sliced through the air, ruthlessly claiming the lives of survivors. A Saint Lord Realm cultivator was instantaneously reduced to mere fragments, with no hope of survival under the relentless harvest of the Great Way. Who could have anticipated yet another calamity? Who will save us? The air was thick with wails and cries. Those who had previously rejoiced at their survival were now steeped in despair. Someone has breached the boundary. Let us follow. A cultivator shouted. Having noticed the commotion near Ji-Xian, the remaining survivors disregarded all else, racing towards the black vortex. Heavens, could it be true? Is that Xiao Dou? Though merely at the mortal realm, he has survived. As they drew closer, some recognized Xiao Dou ahead. Upon noticing Ji-Xian by his side, the assembled cultivators understood the reason. Had they known, they would have clung to this formidable figure from the very beginning. A gravely injured cultivator lamented bitterly. Indeed, one who can eliminate 5 Saint Kings is no ordinary being. Another affirmed. Boom, boom, boom. The void storm intensified, and the tunnel was on the brink of annihilation, consumed by the encroaching darkness. This is dire. Increase your speed. A cultivator shouted in alarm, dispersing all his divine energy to bolster the divine rainbow. Thud, thud, thud. A series of blade-like sounds echoed as the lagging cultivators were ruthlessly harvested like chaff. Panic ensued among the cultivators, who called out desperately, White-robed Senior, please save us. As fellow humans, you cannot abandon us. The accompanying demon cultivators exchanged glances, their expressions twisted in disdain. You greedy mortals. Do you think we demons will not extend our aid? Senior, we demons are willing to follow you faithfully, never to betray. As the cries of the cultivators echoed, Ji-Xian, from his elevated position, glanced down coldly. It is merely a matter of fate. It is none of my concern. Witnessing Ji-Xian's indifferent response, the cultivators were thrown into disarray. Death looms ominously, an abyss of void surging forth like dark clouds, sealing off most avenues of escape. The crowd shifts their focus onto Xiao Dou. Xiao Dou, quickly plead with the Senior to save us. Indeed, Xiao Dou. The Senior chose to board your vessel for a reason. Please assist us. Xiao Dou, his breath faint, glanced back, his eyes filled with a myriad of complex emotions. After a moment of contemplation, memories of the past flooded his mind. Gritting his teeth, he turned away, choosing to remain silent. Xiao Dou, Dogo, Dodad. The porters cried out in a state of panic, their faces etched with desperation. Damn it, who was it that incited Xiao Dou's father? Claiming he couldn't satisfy the new bride. Step forward. It was Old Wang. Where is Old Wang? Drag him out and get Dodad a drink to bolster his spirits. As they faced impending doom, the porters glanced around as if seeking revenge against former comrades. Stop searching. Old Wang has long since retired. Isn't that him right there? Sun Huang turned back, observing the farcical display of these mundane people with disdain. Behind them, the tempest of the void intensified, the entire dimensional barrier collapsing entirely. The cultivators scrambled chaotically, each striving to seize a glimmer of hope in their final moments. Yet, all efforts were in vain. Death awaited them. As the specter of demise closed in, despair and resentment filled their hearts. As mighty figures, how can they lack a sense of responsibility to save the world? What a disgrace. I don't want to die. Who will save me? Voices of scorn and vitriol echoed, revealing the porter's base instincts and humanity's frailties. The vortex trembled, and Ji Xian and his companions arrived in the realm of reality. Hearing the cacophony of insults from the tunnel behind, Ji Xian remained unperturbed, his expression as tranquil as still water as he wiped away the traces of the vortex. Young master, we seem to have deviated from our intended course. What shall we do next? Ao Tian inquired. Just as Ji Xian pondered, a distant roar of feral beasts echoed. A convoy from a certain faction advanced slowly in this direction, composed of many ferocious beasts, each carrying a cultivator upon its back. Alas, the sect master insists we find another vessel with spirit. It is truly vexing. One disciple lamented. Oh, don't mention it. There are rumors that my junior brother perished in the uncertain divine sea, taking with him an elder from our sect as well. Really? Is that true? Can a cultivator at the Saint King level truly meet such an end? It is said that during that time, a great emperor emerged. In the distance, Ji Xian's eyes narrowed, a smile playing on his lips. Fate is indeed a marvelous thing. Chapter 119. The Sacred Beast Mountain. A cacophony of beastly roars reverberated through the woods, shaking the mountains. In the skies above, Sun Huowang bared his teeth, revealing two sharp fangs, glaring fiercely at the approaching convoy. Master, when shall we strike? Upon seeing the disciples of Sacred Beast Mountain, his desire to charge forth and reduce them to pulp surged within him. Ji Xian gently caressed the mixed-origin purple-gold gourd at his waist and smiled. There's no rush. Let us get a bit closer. Ao Tian gazed ahead, his eyes burning with intensity. Let me make this clear. Monkey, while humans may be slain, that pack of savage beasts is to be spared. It has been several days since I feasted on meat. Xiaodou stood behind, utterly astonished by the actions of the few men before him. Gentlemen, are you truly planning to raid the Sacred Beast Mountain? This place is renowned as a formidable force in this state. In his recollections, Ji Xian was capable of breaking through the void, possessing extraordinary strength. Yet, to challenge a revered sanctuary like this alone seemed rather audacious. Oh, pray tell, what foundation does this Sacred Beast Mountain possess? Ji Xian inquired. Ah, sir, I must warn you, you may not appreciate my words. Xiaodou, thrilled by Ji Xian's engagement, approached with eager steps. Speak freely, I implore you. With Ji Xian's consent, Xiaodou continued. The Sacred Beast Mountain, despite its few disciples, wields a unique beast-taming secret art. It is said that a single disciple can command over a dozen savage beasts of the same rank, rendering them unparalleled among the younger generation. There are even rumors of a beast sovereign raised within their ranks, whose power has reached the level of a saint sovereign. Ji Xian nodded, gaining a clearer understanding of the situation at Sacred Beast Mountain. Merely a minor sect. However, Xiaodou, with your extensive travels, you possess intriguing insights. Alas, it is a pity. Though Sacred Beast Mountain is powerful, its reputation is rather tarnished, Xiaodou sighed. Why is that? Ji Xian questioned, perplexed. The might of Sacred Beast Mountain naturally attracts many mortals seeking refuge. However, the common folk at the foot of the mountain seem to vanish every decade or so, as if they evaporate into thin air. I was once invited by a close cousin to settle down in the vicinity of Sacred Beast Mountain. Yet, just as I prepared to depart, my cousin mysteriously disappeared, and I could not trace his whereabouts. Reluctantly, I had to establish my residence near the ancient mine with my mother, Xiaodou elaborated. Master, they have arrived, should we proceed? Sun Huowang turned back, seeking permission. Ji Xian nodded. With a swish, Sun Huowang transformed into a crimson streak of light, darting towards the approaching convoy. Hey, monkey, remember my words. Ao Tian quickly conveyed through thought. Understood. Hey, senior brother, what sort of mountain is this? Why do I feel a chill creeping down my neck? A disciple riding a savage beast wiped the cold sweat from his brow, his heart racing. Damn, it truly feels eerie. It's just an ordinary hill. Don't frighten me. An older disciple shrank back. To lighten the mood, he added, once this batch of stone is delivered, we can enjoy a few peaceful years. Then, we can spend some leisure time at the Yichuan Pavilion in town. Haha. The two exchanged lewd glances, their expressions quite unbecoming. Are you laughing at me? A sharp voice interjected, filled with fury. The two men, taken aback, turned to see a small monkey at the fork in the road, brandishing a black iron rod taller than itself, exuding an air of arrogance. You little demon, with such a foul mouth. Do you not fear my brothers, and I will deal with you? A disciple gazed at the comical monkey before him and jestingly remarked, enough of your prattle. Come down and bow thrice to your venerable grandfather, or you shall remain in pieces. With a thunderous roar, Sun Huowang exerted force beneath his feet, causing the earth to fracture with a multitude of robust cracks. The savage beasts behind the disciples of the Sacred Beast Mountain were startled, howling incessantly as the scene threatened to spiral out of control. Observing this, several of them hastily summoned yellow talismans. Be restrained. The talismans ignited in the low sky, their golden divine patterns intertwining, instantly quelling the impending chaos among the savage beasts. Ah, this little monkey demon possesses some skill indeed. In that case, let us escort you back to the Sacred Beast Mountain. The leading senior brother furrowed his brow and soared into the air, producing a gleaming circular ring that hung above like a radiant sun, emanating immense power. Submit. He bellowed, as an irresistible force surged forth from the ring, seeking to subdue Sun Huawang. From a distance, Xiao Dou gazed at the ring, his spirit trembling. Good heavens! What treasure is this that it can affect my mind from such a distance? Meanwhile, Sun Huawang's fur danced in the wind, glowing like molten iron. Brandishing a staff with one hand, he unleashed the sacred battle technique. A pair of fiery red eyes emerged amidst the swirling dust, igniting a conflagration that seemed capable of incinerating all. With a swish, two beams of divine light shot forth from Sun Huawang's eyes, sweeping across the battlefield like unquenchable pillars of light, instantly slaying the disciple who had dared to strike. Senior brother, gasped the nearby disciple, horrified. His senior brother was already a practitioner at the initial stage of the Sacred Lord realm, yet this little demon had vanquished him in a single blow. Retreat. Preserve the materials. He called out urgently to his fellow disciples. It was too late. Sun Huawang appeared before the throng of men and beasts in an instant, his fiery gaze piercing through all, swiftly annihilating every living being in their ranks. Ah, damn it, you charred all of them. Ao Tian gritted his teeth, his golden tail whipping about like a windmill, poised to confront Sun Huawang in a desperate struggle. Ji Xian, utterly exasperated, seized Ao Tian by the scruff of his neck. Refusing to relent despite his struggles, he unfurled the celestial domain of creation, beginning to analyze the scattered soul energy in the air. Moments later, he discerned the full purpose of the Sacred Beast Mountain disciples' journey, under the command of their master. They were to collect the primordial ancient mineral and transport it across various regions, preparing for the awakening of a certain treasured artifact. Ugh, monkey. Must you eat bananas and peaches every day without letting me share? During this period, Ao Tian had been compelled to subsist solely on vegetables, enduring considerable torment. Ji Xian's ears tingled with irritation, and he unceremoniously tossed him into the Hunyuan mirror. Let us depart for the Sacred Beast Mountain. Very well, master. Xiao Dou, utterly astonished, could hardly find his voice. Are the elders truly making a move against the Sacred Beast Mountain? This is unprecedented. At Sacred Beast Mountain, the headmaster, respectfully toasting a figure clad in an enigmatic mask and dark robes, inquired, My lord, the final batch of materials will soon arrive. Will the ancient mineral S shadow be revived then? Indeed, the vessel is prepared. How is the blood of your mortals coming along? The figure in the dark robes responded. Rest assured, my lord, I have meticulously prepared for this endeavor over the course of a millennium, and not a single holy land will be aware of it. The sect leader responded. Excellent. Should we successfully seize the primordial ancient mine, the organization shall not forget your contributions. The sect leader then inquired, My lord, is the revival of this ancient mine truly orchestrated by the organization? The figure in the black robe appeared somewhat inebriated. The organization lacks such formidable power. All of this is merely the result of the natural order, with the organization serving only as a facilitator. Very well indeed. However, the sect leader harbored lingering apprehensions regarding the Ji family. Do not inquire into matters that do not concern you. Sect leader, you need only obey the organization's directives and adequately support the internal forces of the 3,000 states. Abide by the orders and refrain from overstepping. Your good days at Sacred Beast Mountain are not far off. The figure in black spoke coldly. Yes, I shall adhere to your arrangements, my lord. Chapter 120. Breaking into the mountain's Sacred Beast Mountain, Beastmaster Hall. Within the dimly lit Grand Hall, the sect leader, the Supreme Elder, and the disciples gazed intently at the formation above. A dozen demonic hounds, filled with malevolent energy, were bound by thick chains, quietly floating in a pool of blood. These hounds resembled leopards, measuring several dozen feet in length, adorned with a single thunderous horn atop their heads, exuding an overwhelming aura of malevolence. Their bodies were covered in dark, intricate patterns, with muscles coiling like serpents. The disciples below held their breath, their eyes betraying their unease. Suspended before the blood pool was a black gemstone, emanating an intensely frigid aura that sent chills down their spines. In recent days, they had witnessed the slaughter of countless mortals, a scene so gruesome that even their ascension to the sacred realm could not shield them from its harrowing impact. Why has the shipment of stone materials not yet arrived? If the engraving of the patterns is delayed, it could lead to significant repercussions. The figure in black cast a glance at the sect leader, speaking coldly. Indeed, it has been over half a month since the last communication. Could there be a problem? The sect leader stroked his beard, feeling a sense of unease. For reasons unknown, an ominous premonition had lingered in his heart in recent days. He turned around and commanded, Bring forth the messenger. A disciple hurriedly entered the hall and knelt, reporting to the sect leader, there are outsiders 300 miles away. Oh, they have finally arrived. The sect leader felt a surge of joy within. This group of youngsters had been exceedingly inefficient, causing such a lengthy delay. If this tardiness were to incite the anger of this esteemed individual, Sacred Beast Mountain's future would be even more perilous. Quickly, send someone to transport the stones back. There must be no errors in nurturing the shadow stones. The sect leader waved his hand, issuing the order. Reporting to the sect leader, the newcomers are not disciples of our sect. The kneeling disciple stammered, hesitating to elaborate. What is it? The sect leader frowned. They are nameless individuals. Our sect's disciples attempted to warn them, but they were all annihilated. The disciple exhaled deeply after delivering the news. What? The sect leader's heart sank. Could trouble truly be brewing? The figure in black turned, saying, Sect leader, you must be well prepared. Quickly eliminate the intruding cultivators. Do not delay the awakening of the beasts. Yes, my lord. The sect leader hastily responded. Follow me out of the mountain. With a grand gesture, he led a group of elders and disciples out of the grand hall. The man in the black robe remained rooted in place, his countenance shadowed beneath the mask. I hope this does not hinder the matter of offering the ancient mind. Suddenly, a formidable divine consciousness surged from a certain direction, probing directly towards the man in black. Who dares? He bellowed fiercely, channeling his sacred energy to expand his protective divine light. Crack! That divine consciousness instantaneously shattered the resplendent protective aura and penetrated into the man in black's body. A chilling sensation surged from his heart, swiftly radiating throughout his being. The man in black was taken aback, shivering with dread. In that fleeting moment, a shadow of death enveloped him. It seemed that his innermost secrets had been laid bare. How could this be possible? A mere illusion? The man in black shook his head, deciding to venture out for a closer look. Outside the sacred beast mountain, a tremendous boom reverberated as Ao Tian and Sun Huowang unleashed powerful strikes, reducing the mountain gate to mere dust. Humph, this grand sacred land is nothing but this. Sun Huowang disdainfully surveyed the corpses and ruins scattered about, spitting in contempt. Young master, the obstacles have been cleared, Ao Tian said as he approached Ji Xian. Indeed. Let us proceed, Ji Xian replied, retracting his consciousness and stepping down from the carriage. Stop. Who dares trespass upon sacred beast mountain? In the valley, several streaks of light surged forth. The sect leader and the elders appeared, their eyes widening in fury at the sight of the ravaged mountain gate. You audacious fools! What grievance do we hold against you? He questioned vehemently. Old man, your gate is rather flimsy. It couldn't withstand a single blow from me, huh? Sun Huowang boasted, raising his iron staff. You impudent monkey demon, knowing this is the mountain gate of beast tamers, you dare to come here and cause trouble? Very well, I shall take you down first. An elder beside the sect leader stepped forward, brandishing a golden binding rope. The binding rope writhed like a twisted viper, swiftly ensnaring Sun Huowang. Roar! A resounding dragon's roar echoed as Sun Huowang activated the Battle Saint technique, exuding an aura of golden dragons. In an instant, the binding rope was flung aside. Ao Tian cast a disapproving glance at him. You foolish monkey, lacking your own treasures, you still insist on stealing my techniques. Don't you? Sun Huowang grinned widely. Oh, not at all. I merely grasped the basics. Without hesitation, he leapt forward, wielding his obsidian iron staff, charging at the elder who had just attacked. You little demon. A dark divine radiance intertwined, manifesting a black divine dragon from the void. Bang! The dragon's shadow descended heavily. The elder, caught off guard, was crushed into a bloody pulp. Seeking death, the sect leader exclaimed in shock, preparing to unleash a lethal strike. Old fossil, do not shout. You shall be next. Sun Huowang thrust upward, sending several incoming magical artifacts scattering, directing the dragon's shadow towards the sect leader. Do you truly believe you can kill me? The sect leader retorted with a sharp command, summoning numerous beast shadows behind him. The roars of ferocious beasts resonated throughout the mountains, exuding an aura of murderous intent. Bang! The two clashed violently, both being sent flying backward. Sun Huowang kicked back with great speed, nearly losing his footing. Behind him, Ji Xian exhaled a breath of clarity, steadying his stance. The master of the sect had embedded himself within a mountain peak, a trickle of blood escaping the corner of his mouth. It turned out he was at the half-step Saint Venerable realm. No wonder he could withstand my blow. Sun Huowang gritted his teeth and remarked. Just then, another figure soared into the valley. A man in a black robe manifested, observing the disheveled master of the sect with an expression of displeasure. Master, is this how you conduct your cleanup? The master of the sect struggled to extricate himself from the mountain, replying, My lord, this monkey demon is peculiar. Though he possesses the cultivation of a saint lord, he was able to withstand my strike. Oh, the man in black scrutinized Sun Huowang. Why does the Tao essence emanating from this monkey seem so potent? There is even a remnant of imperial might. Could he be a direct disciple of some great demon emperor? To err on the side of caution, he inquired, Monkey, to which faction do you belong? While the sacred beast mountain survives by taming beasts, it seems we have not provoked you, have we? Sun Huowang brushed off his rear and stood up, retorting, Get lost. Are you here to reminisce about your esteemed connections? With a mighty roar, he unleashed an overwhelming essence of the Tao, causing the spiritual energy within tens of thousands of miles to surge towards him. A vast innate Tao map materialized behind him, enveloping the entire valley. It depicted the splendid landscapes and exotic beasts from every corner of the world, as if vividly captured in reality. Behold, your monkey grandpa is the natural stone spirit you have been searching for all these years. In the valley, the man in black exchanged glances with the master of the sect. My lord, I must not have misheard. This monkey claims to be the natural stone spirit. The man in black, filled with uncertainty, scrutinized the innate Tao map behind Sun Huowang. After confirming it thrice, he realized it was indeed him. Previously, You had informed me that the search for the stone spirit was fruitless. How has he now presented himself at our doorstep? The master of the sect, still taken aback, shook his head vigorously. A year ago, he had sacrificed one of the sect's elders to capture this stone spirit, yet he had not caught even a glimpse of it. Regardless, we must act swiftly. We must seize him at all costs. The man in black spoke with a voice as firm as iron. The master of the sect hesitated. Legends spoke of the battle of the 10,000 beasts, which had stirred the attention of a great emperor from a certain faction. Although the credibility of such tales was questionable, he remained wary. After all, an emperor could foresee the future and trace back to the roots of events. If he made a move and attracted the gaze of a certain emperor, it would spell disaster. Why do you still hesitate? Do you wish for me to take action myself? You should understand that this heavenly stone spirit, as a vessel, is 100 times more formidable than the sacrificial Dao Shadow Stone. The man in black stated solemnly. Suddenly, water ripples appeared in the void ahead, and a figure in white materialized. He sat cross-legged in the air, his black hair flowing freely without wind, his eyes gently closed, exuding an ethereal aura. Oh, you just mentioned the sacrificial Dao Shadow Stone? Ji Xian opened his eyes, carefully scrutinizing the man in black before him. Who is this person that has emerged? The master of the sect was taken aback, staring blankly at the figure in white. Aside from the Ji family, is there anyone capable of remaining in the void for an extended period? Who are you? The countenance of the man in the black robe was grave, as if sensing the extraordinary nature of the individual before him. Have you already forgotten our recent encounter? Ji Xian remarked with a light chuckle. Very well. Allow me to remind you. With a flick of his index finger, he instantaneously connected with the lingering consciousness within the black-robed figure. A chilling wave of dread surged through, causing the black-robed man to tighten his chest and breathe heavily. Was that not merely an illusion? I am a cultivator of the Saint's sovereign realm. How could I be so casually scrutinized? A sudden realization struck him. Could this person be a cultivator of a realm beyond the Saint's sovereign? Various rumors from the martial world flitted through his mind like shadow puppets. His conjecture might indeed be accurate. Good heavens. I merely sought to fulfill my duties this month and earn my meager salary. Surely, my fate cannot be this dire. He resolved to flee without a moment's hesitation. The black-robed man turned his gaze toward the sect leader, formulating a plan. Sect leader, entrust me with your sect's token, and I shall assist you in summoning the beast tide. He instructed the sect leader beside him. The sect leader, taken aback, expressed his astonishment. This esteemed individual intended to aid him in vanquishing foes. For millennia, those dispatched from above had been tyrannical and bloodthirsty, often sparing not even the disciples of the sect. The mere thought of this newly appointed master fighting alongside him was profoundly moving. My lord, I am deeply touched. The sect leader hastily relinquished the sect token. My lord, I shall gather spiritual energy to protect you. Please do not fret. Tears of excitement streamed from the corners of his eyes as he stepped forward, embodying a demeanor of impending sacrifice, and began to seal the formation with hand gestures. A six-pointed star formation appeared in the void, as spiritual energy gradually coalesced towards its center. Observing this, the black-robed man retreated on tiptoe, for divine halos illuminating behind him, seemingly on the verge of escape. My lord, shall we not pursue? Xiao Dou inquired, gazing upward. Moreover, the beast tide of the sacred beast mountain is exceedingly terrifying. Once unleashed, countless beasts run rampant. Even a celestial mountain may be trampled underfoot. Should we not take cover? Ji Xian brushed the dust from his gourd. No rush, he cannot elude us. Let us first observe the spectacle. With a whoosh, the black-robed man transformed into a streak of light, vanishing into the valley. Ji Xian summoned the Kongtong seal, temporarily sealing off the domain of the sacred beast mountain. Meanwhile, the sect leader had gathered a plethora of spiritual energy, wholly unaware of the events transpiring around him. My lord, the spiritual energy is ready. Simply activate the token to unleash the beast tide. The sect leader spoke with his back turned, shifting his attention to the mountain gate, his eyes gleaming with mockery. Oh, this stone spirit, how much foundation has my sect lost in pursuit of you? Today, you shall not escape. My lord, please take action. No one can hinder the advance of our organization. The sacred beast mountain shall surely thrive and prosper in this age of tribulation. After a considerable time, the anticipated beast tide had yet to be unleashed. My lord, my esteemed lord. Suddenly, a black crow flew overhead. After calling out twice, the sect leader sensed something amiss. He attempted to turn around to investigate, but alas, the operation of the gathering formation could not be disrupted. My esteemed lord, my lord. With a mournful tone, the master seemed to have sensed something amiss, his voice wavering. To think he would flee. Indeed, there appears to be no decent person among the denizens of the underworld mountain. Sun Huang stepped forward, brandishing an iron rod, prodding the corner of the master's mouth. What now? Are you still moved? I dare not move, I dare not move. The master hastily replied. My lords, please spare me. Bang. In another corner of the sacred beast mountain, 5,000 miles still remained. The figure clad in black robes soared into the sky, riding a divine rainbow, heading towards the mountain's edge. Clutching the sect's token, he communicated with the very essence of sacred beast mountain. able to traverse 1,000 miles with a single step. Buzzing, suddenly, a small, reddish-brown seal in the heavens rapidly expanded. In an instant, the towering celestial mountain descended upon the sky, causing the void above to collapse, revealing a misty abyss. The surface of the mountain was caressed by ethereal winds, as a thin veil of red gauze slowly descended. In the next moment, the territory of Sacred Beast Mountain was enveloped in this crimson shroud. What is this? He swiftly halted, summoning several magical artifacts to probe ahead. Clang, clang, clang. Without exception, all artifacts shattered instantly upon nearing the red veil by 100 yards. He turned to flee in all directions, only to discover that this confinement held no blind spots. Cursed be this technique. How could it seal off a sacred ground? The figure in black robes furiously struck the boundary wall beyond the mountain. Turning back to glance at the Beastmaster Hall, he felt a moment of hesitation. No matter. It's now or never. If I can escape, I must relay this information to the Underworld Mountain. He flew back to the Grand Hall, gazing at the suspended ritual path shadow stone above. The malevolent energy of this stone was potent enough to forcibly resurrect the divine hound from the pool. This formidable dark beast, while no longer at its peak, remained a notable figure among the sacred realm. Moreover, the beast bore the inscription of a secret demonic technique, which, if utilized, could enable it to launch assaults beyond its rank. If the two sacred sovereigns were to unite, coupled with a tide of beasts, there existed a glimmer of hope for survival. His heart rekindled with hope. Buzzing, the ritual path shadow stone emitted an ominous divine light, slowly descending. Just as the figure in black robes reached out to grasp it, the stone suddenly transformed into a streak of light and flew away. Clang! The streak of light burst forth from the Grand Hall, hurtling directly towards the mountain's edge. In the next moment, an ethereal male voice resonated throughout Sacred Beast Mountain. Alas, to think such an imperial treasure would be used to refine a lifeless entity of the sacred sovereign realm, what a waste. With the convergence of yin and yang, only the imperial altar remains. Chapter 122. A thought blossoms within the Beastmaster Hall. The figure in black robes fixed his gaze upon the mountain gate, his expression grave, as if facing a formidable adversary. There can be no mistake. Such an extraordinary spatial technique must belong to that individual by the uncertain divine sea. As for whether he has clashed with the Emperor, that remains to be determined for now. He turned to observe the divine hound within the blood pool. This creature had been excavated from an ancient tomb, restored to life through secret rituals. Though it no longer boasted its former peak, its regal presence still lingered. What a pity. Without the ritual path shadow stone, it cannot be offered as a tribute to the esteemed one in the ancient mine. The figure in black robes produced the sect token, infusing it with sacred power. All disciples of Sacred Beast Mountain, assemble. Whoosh, 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 within a radius of 10,000 miles. Hundreds of streaks of light converged swiftly. Thus, gathered were all the disciples of Sacred Beast Mountain. Although their numbers are few, the mastery of beast taming techniques possessed by them is extraordinarily potent, particularly in summoning beast tides. The man in the black robe raised the sect's token high. The sect leader is deceased. I shall assume the authority of the sect leader henceforth. Upon hearing this news, the disciples felt as though they had been struck by lightning, their minds buzzing in disbelief. How could the sect leader, a being of half-step saint sovereign status, have perished? Our Sacred Beast Mountain has long dominated this region. How could anyone dare to silence us? Silence! The man in the black robe thundered. I shall exercise my authority. Do any of you have objections? The disciples fell silent, hesitating. For them, a change in sect leadership was a matter of great significance, yet this black-robed man was handling it with such casualness. My lord, please consider the matter of the sect leader. An elderly man leaning on a cane tremulously stepped forward. He was an inner sect elder, having achieved the realm of Saint King, and was highly respected among the disciples after living for over 20,000 years. Oh, you dare to voice an objection, old man? The expression of the man in the black robe darkened. The elder spoke. For over 100,000 years, Sacred Beast Mountain has never encountered such a situation. Though your status is exalted, such matters should involve the disciples within the sect. Boom. The man in the black robe extended his right hand, his four fingers poised. A bolt of dark green lightning erupted from his fingertips, instantly obliterating the elder into fragments. The elder's primordial spirit swiftly dissipated, his screams echoing in anguish. The disciples present gasped, realizing that even the top-tier combat strength of a Saint King could not withstand a single attack from this man. Without a doubt, many disciples immediately capitulated. I am willing to follow you, my lord. So am I. I too am willing. The man in the black robe smiled, saying, Excellent. Go quickly and establish a formation, using the Beast Taming Hall as the point of departure to unleash the tide of sacred beasts. Yes, the elders and disciples hurriedly departed. Alas, this is madness. To summon a beast tied within the sect is tantamount to seeking one's own demise. One disciple lamented. Don't even mention it. Can't you see? This man clearly intends to use our lives to achieve his own ends. The slaughter missions within the sect for over 1,000 years have merely served him. Another disciple sighed mournfully, having resigned to his fate. To be born as a member of Sacred Beast Mountain is to die as a ghost of Sacred Beast Mountain. Ji Xian strolled leisurely among the mountains, perceiving the man in the black robe as a fish caught in a barrel. Several hours later, a group arrived before the summit of Sacred Beast Mountain. Atop the peak, numerous disciples of Sacred Beast Mountain stood in formation, awaiting orders. They formed intricate arrays, each group of over a dozen individuals hoisting a 100-foot-high black copper palace. Within the palace, faint roars of wild beasts could be heard. Above, the man in the black robe rode a formidable divine hound, exuding an air of majesty. The sharp, murderous aura emanating from the divine hound enveloped the vicinity, sending chills through the disciples who turned their backs to it. Ji Xian narrowed his eyes, scrutinizing the divine hound closely. Its surface bore the inscriptions of a demonic cultivation technique. How convenient for me. He recalled the enhancements of demonic techniques from the battle god domain, which still amounted to naught. Activate the formation. The figure in the dark robe stood at the summit, proclaiming with a thunderous voice. The bronze temple in the disciples' hands trembled violently. From time to time, ferocious beasts emerged beside him. They possessed a rugged appearance, exceedingly grotesque, yet their primal ferocity was unparalleled. Each one would prove a formidable adversary. Among them, a multitude exuded the aura of sacred kings. This formidable presence was sufficient to sweep away any faction within the province. Suddenly, a blood-colored divine hound at the rear let out a piercing howl, causing the multitude of beasts to stampede in a frenzy. The towering peak, thousands of feet high, shook violently as if on the brink of collapse. Charge! The cacophony of roars and clash of sounds erupted as the various beasts, seized by terror, erupted into chaos upon being unleashed. The ground trembled, the earth-shattering noises reverberated through the heavens, and the cries of the beast horde seemed to challenge the very sky. Faced with such a terrifying spectacle, Little Doe turned pale, retreating in fear. He was merely a mortal cultivator. Even a single beast from this horde could easily overpower him, let alone the multitude present. Sun Huawang and Ao Tian simultaneously drew their weapons, preparing to confront the enemy. Even they could not afford to underestimate such a formidable array. Just as they readied themselves for battle, a pair of large hands pressed down upon them from behind. Let me handle this, Ji Xian said, stepping forward with a glint of determination in his eyes. My lord, engaging such minor beasts might diminish your prestige, Ao Tian remarked, apprehensively. Ji Xian waved his hand dismissively. No need for concern, prepare the storage ring. The figure in the dark robe atop the mountain darkened his expression upon seeing Ji Xian step forward alone. You truly intend to face the beast tied by yourself, overestimating your capabilities. In the realm of the sacred, the disparity in power between cultivators increases with the gap in their realms. However, facing an overwhelming numerical advantage, such differences rapidly diminish. Given the current situation, even a great sage would need to proceed with caution. The disciples of Sacred Beast Mountain shared the sentiments of the dark-robed figure, expressing disdain for Ji Xian's audacity. Did he truly consider himself an imperial figure, daring to enter the beast tied alone? A century ago, several mighty sacred lords perished beneath the iron hooves of the beast horde. What merit did this man possess? Though Sacred Beast Mountain had declined due to internal strife, it was not a place where any random individual could recklessly provoke. The disciples maintaining the formation in the rear began to murmur among themselves. Ji Xian moved forward with measured grace, undaunted by the ferocious tide of beasts, his gaze fixed intently upon the divine hound at the pinnacle. It was now less than 10 miles away, perilously close to being engulfed. Little Doe urged Ao Tian from behind. Brother Ao, won't you dissuade our lord? This is nothing short of courting death. Ao Tian shook his head. My lord does not engage in ventures lacking confidence. We can simply observe. He too was puzzled as to why Ji Xian instructed him to prepare the storage ring. Little Doe could only relent, anxiety gnawing at him for Ji Xian's safety. With a deft motion, Ji Xian pinched his thumb and middle finger together, summoning a tricolor fire lotus. Although the fire lotus measured less than a foot in length, with petals no larger than a palm, it emanated an imposing aura of fiery principles. Go, he commanded. He moved with grace, each step like a blooming lotus stirring ripples upon the water's surface. In that moment, Ji Xian felt as though he were truly immersed in the pond. The fire lotus soared towards the beast tide, gliding like an ethereal sprite in the night. The fragile fire lotus swiftly vanished into the throng of beasts, leaving not a single splash in its wake. What is he doing? Playing with flowers in the midst of battle? Is he preparing for a wedding? This is utterly ludicrous. Do not tell me this person was responsible for the demise of the former sect leader. If the invading foe truly is him, the former leader must have perished from laughter. A disciple scoffed. Suddenly, a tricolor fire line emerged amidst the beast tide, as delicate as transparent silk. The figure in the black robe atop the mountain finally sensed the anomaly. Being the most powerful within the Sacred Beast Mountain, he naturally detected the signs. Boom. Before he could fully comprehend the situation, a deafening explosion jolted him awake. There, in the arena, appeared a colossal fire lotus, its three-colored divine light intertwining. The nearby rampaging beasts were the first to bear the brunt of the impact, with hundreds instantly obliterated. Following this, 3 tongues of flame, red, green, and purple, erupted from the lotus's heart, surging forth like dragons emerging from the sea. In an instant, a sea of fire engulfed all the beasts. With a cacophony of crackling sounds, many of the beasts were consumed by the inferno before they could even react, deprived of the chance to wail in despair. The flames grew ever fiercer, affecting the surrounding mountains, plunging them into a fiery abyss. Ji Xian surveyed his handiwork with satisfaction, nodding in approval. He plucked another fire lotus from his fingertips, resplendent in color. Henceforth, this technique shall be known as a thought blossoms. Chapter 123. The scheme of the organization upon the mountain. A charred expanse lay before him. A great fire had reduced numerous spiritual peaks to ashes. As he gazed around, the once verdant mountains had transformed into a desolate wasteland. A gentle breeze wafted by, carrying with it a faint aroma of roasted meat from the darkened earth. Where's that delightful fragrance coming from? Ao Tian was taken aback, sniffing the air as an involuntary drool escaped his lips. What are you waiting for? If we delay, it will all cool down and lose its freshness. Ji Xian's voice echoed in his mind. So that was the intent. Truly, my lord knows me well. Ao Tian rejoiced, hastily rummaging through a collection of jars and containers to commence the cleanup of the battlefield. Before the beast-taming hall, a group of disciples trembled as they beheld Ji Xian standing solitary at the mountain's base. The beast tide of Sacred Beast Mountain had been shattered, and by a single individual at that. One disciple, unable to withstand the oppressive aura of the man in white, stepped forward to inquire about the next course of action from the figure in the black robe. New sect leader, what shall we? But where had he gone? The disciple was startled to find that the figure in black and the blood-colored divine hound had vanished without a trace. Roar! A beastly roar echoed from afar, as the figure in black rode the fierce beast, vanishing into the horizon. The sect leader has fled? What are we to do now? The disciples erupted into a frenzy. With a rustle of his garments dancing in the wind, Ji Xian stepped into the void, ascending to the mountain peak. He cast a sweeping glance over the disciples hidden within the hall, intentionally or not. A profound sense of suffocation enveloped the crowd, rendering them breathless, as if they had plunged into a dense fog, heavy and despairing. Then, his gaze shifted towards the horizon. The figure clad in black robes was incessantly infusing the divine beast with secretive power, attempting to activate the intricate patterns on its surface. What a waste in this quagmire, he mused. Suddenly, a resplendent golden-hued gourd detached itself from his waist, levitating into the air. A brilliant light emanated from it, revealing a palpable aura of celestial principles. Gather. In an instant, the air currents above the beast control hall became tumultuous. Centered around the gourd's opening, a massive vortex formed, exuding a formidable suction force. The black-robed figure, who had retreated thousands of miles, felt his body stiffen, and even the divine beast beneath him began to thrash violently, desperately resisting. What in the world is this? Can you spare me? As both man and beast were uncontrollably drawn backward, the blood-red divine beast was ensnared within the gourd, while the black-robed figure found himself captured with a single hand. Ji Xian regarded the black-robed man with a calm demeanor, seemingly awaiting his confession. The black-robed figure met his profound gaze, a wave of panic washing over him. Great One, I confess. I am indeed from the quantitative organization. I will reveal anything you wish to know. He struggled desperately to break free from Ji Xian's grip. I'm just a lowly employee earning a meager salary. Please, spare me. I only earn a few thousand spirit crystals a month. I don't wish to risk my life. Ji Xian was momentarily at a loss for words. Following the encounter with the loquacious envoy during his last descent, he had now encountered another peculiar individual. Were all members of the quantitative organization such oddities? Very well, speak. He finally replied, I am in a good mood, and might consider your words. Thank you, my lord. I am the representative responsible for this vast region, named Xiongda. Aged 13,000 years, and unmarried. Get to the point. Ji Xian interjected with a light scoff. Yes, my apologies, I'm just nervous. The Taichu ancient mine is on the verge of revival, and the ancient beings within seem to be awakening under the influence of the cosmic power. The organization has tasked me with refining a quantitative beast to offer to the guardians of the Taichu ancient mine in pursuit of collaboration. Collaboration? Ji Xian inquired, bemused. Indeed. My lord, our organization possesses the methods to refine using the power of quantity. The Taichu ancient mine is a confluence of cosmic might, teeming with karma. The ancient beings will undoubtedly not reject such power. Although the effects of the power obtained through sacrifice are inferior to that of naturally generated sources, it is inexhaustible and endlessly available. As the saying goes, mortals are like chives, continually harvested. The black-robed man said sheepishly. Ji Xian nodded. What do you know about the internal factions within the Ji family? Having learned from previous encounters that not all members of the Ji family were involved, he realized he could target the specific individuals responsible, thus avoiding unnecessary complications. The Ji family? I'm quite familiar. There is a lineage of clan elders. Just as the black-robed figure was about to elaborate, a sudden wave of nausea surged within him, halting his words before they could escape his lips. Do you not wish to speak? Indeed, my lord, I cannot articulate how the mask upon his visage shattered, revealing a countenance twisted in agony, as if he were enduring some profound mental torment. Very well, I shall delve into his soul personally. With a decisive gesture, Ji Xian pointed his finger towards the brow of the cloaked figure, intending to explore the depths of his consciousness. Suddenly, with a resounding explosion, the head of the cloaked man erupted, blood splattering and fragments of bone scattering across the ground. Such formidable restrictions. Ji Xian was taken aback. This barrier was capable of resisting the invasion of transformative forces, resorting to self-detonation. The realm of creation unfolded before him, as Ji Xian meticulously sensed the waning power of the restriction. It was evidently a barrier laid by an emperor. If that were the case, the implications were undeniably profound. An emperor represents the pinnacle of combat prowess across the 9 heavens and 10 realms. The very existence was actively meddling in the tides of calamity. Merely a single restriction prompted Ji Xian to contemplate extensively. Although he had previously interacted with emperors, the circumstances at hand were particularly intricate. In his estimation, this cloaked envoy was merely a fledgling practitioner at the early stage of the saint level. In terms of value, he was vastly inferior to the 2 imperial treasures, hardly warranting the emperor's direct intervention. Yet, the reality stood contrary, underscoring the significance the quantitative organization attributed to this matter. The Ji family, the mysterious mountain, the primordial ancient mine, now, possessing the dual jade of yin and yang, he merely awaited the discovery of the imperial altar. Following the Ji family's endeavor, a visit to the primordial ancient mine is imperative, Ji Xian resolutely declared. A sense of urgency began to envelop his thoughts. From the news regarding the ancient mine, it became evident that the cosmic forces were accelerating their manifestation, heralding the onset of a grand era, wherein numerous powerful factions would undoubtedly seize the opportunity to stir the tempest. Regardless of what the future held, he possessed a degree of self-preservation, ensuring he would not perish amidst the celestial realm. However, the disciples of the Xintian Dao sect were not so fortunate. They had yet to fully mature, and without a formidable backing, they risked being lost to the annals of time. Time, like a blade, cleaves through the gifted, lamenting the beauty upon the path to immortality. As their master, he could not permit them to lag behind, lest it impede the progress of the sect's development. After all, one must reap what one sows. The subsequent task lay in mastering the techniques of the Divine Hound. Chapter 124. Determination on the Mountain Path. Ao Tian and Sun Huowang walked side by side. Glug, glug, delightful. Ao Tian exclaimed with a long howl, taking a hearty swig before resuming his gnawing on the beast's leg in his hands. Sun Huowang cast a disdainful glance his way. With that manner of eating, do not dare represent the Xintian Dao sect when you venture out. Hick, you wretched monkey. Why act so superior? If you find me unsightly, seek a corner to burrow into. If you prefer vegetarian fare, do not impose your tastes upon others. Ao Tian fervently defended himself. Meanwhile, Xiao Dou, trailing behind, gazed around at the desolate scorched earth, marveling in awe. Alas, with a mere gesture, mountains and stars are shattered. Such is the power of the sacred realm. In that moment, he felt his own insignificance, compared to Ji Xian and the others. He appeared as inconsequential as a mayfly in the air. Hey, Xiao Dou, do you think it is better to eat meat or vegetables? Sun Huowang inquired, turning back to address him. Xiao Dou snapped back to reality, looking up to find both of them had halted in their tracks, gazing at him in unison. Ao Tian licked his lips, and without a doubt, vegetables were hardly fit for dragons. Some monsters were so foolishly fixated on bananas day after day. Right, Xiao Dou? Xiao Dou twitched his lips, rendered speechless. These 2 individuals were not to be trifled with. No matter how he responded, it would be a precarious situation. Suddenly, Xiao Dou caught a glimpse of Ji Xian atop the mountain. Clad in a flowing white robe, he was now shrouded in an ominous black aura. What is that dark aura enveloping him? Could something be amiss? Ao Tian and Sun Huowang turned simultaneously, sensing the disturbance. Let us hasten. They abandoned their dispute and swiftly rode the divine rainbow toward the summit. Alas, my rank is still too low. It proves useless to me. Ji Xian sighed, shedding the oppressive black mist. Master, what has transpired? Sun Huowang inquired as he approached. Huowang, your timing is impeccable. I shall impart a forbidden technique to you. Ji Xian beckoned him closer. Oh, with a pointed finger, Ji Xian sent a stream of dark energy into Sun Huowang's brow. His crimson fur dimmed momentarily before radiating a deep green glow. Ding. Detected the host has received a sacred technique breaking Yuan Ming Ju X1, triggering a return of 1,900,000 times. Acquired celestial divine ability 9 Swords of the Underworld God X1. It was indeed a sword technique, conveniently sparing him the necessity of enlightenment. Ji Xian activated the Sword God King body, and the mark of the Divine King resonated within the sea of consciousness. As the 9 Swords of the Underworld God was instantly mastered by Ji Xian, the term divine ability diverges from technique, specifically denoting the art of slaughter. Until now, Ji Xian had only grasped a few divine abilities, such as the Blooming Thought, the Sword God King Fist, and the Chaotic Ray. The emergence of the 9 Swords of the Underworld God perfectly filled a gap in his repertoire. With a flicker, Ji Xian's eyes emitted a dark, ethereal light, intermingled with hints of green, a sight both captivating and fearsome. Behind him, a towering phantom of the underworld god manifested, exuding a terrifying aura of death. Ah! Sun Huowang's fur bristled, his expression contorted. Even after nurturing the underworld energy for millennia, he could scarcely endure this malevolent pressure. A sound of blood being coughed up echoed from within the hall. The disciples from the sacred Beast Mountain now lay incapacitated, crushed beneath the weight of the underworld god's presence. Ah, how could I forget about you all? It seems a fitting moment to test the 9 swords of the underworld god. Ji Xian shifted his focus, his murderous intent locking onto the hundreds present. Elder, please spare us. A disciple knelt on the ground, clutching his chest and gasping for air. Seeing this, the other disciples struggled to rise, collectively pleading with Ji Xian. Yes, Elder, we are merely following orders. Elder, we are innocent in this matter. Upon hearing their words, Ji Xian's bloodlust intensified, and the temperature of the surrounding air plummeted. Innocent? What a splendid jest. With a sweeping gesture, the blood pool within the hall began to churn. Gurgle, gurgle. Soon, the crimson liquid vanished entirely, revealing heaps of unburied corpses. The bodies were haphazardly piled, each one bearing a shriveled visage. Their skin was wrinkled and darkened, having had their life essence thoroughly drained. What is that? At the doorway, Little Doe trembled as if he had seen something extraordinary, tears streaming down his face. Ignoring Ao Tian's attempts to restrain him, he leapt into the corpse pit, weeping bitterly as he embraced a withered body. My only cousin, did you not find refuge in the sacred Beast Mountain? How could you end up like this? Are mortals destined to live like ants, unable to escape the fate of sacrifice and slaughter? I refuse to accept this. Ji Xian pointed towards the corpse pit and addressed the disciples of the sacred Beast Mountain, stating, by employing sacrificial secrets to harm living beings, you have, from that very moment, prepared yourselves to step into this calamity. The line between slayer and slain is but a fleeting instant. In this great disaster, no one is innocent. His tone was resolute and solemn. This declaration was equally directed towards Sun Huowang and Ao Tian. So do not speak to me of innocence. It is not I who seeks your demise, but the grand forces of the universe. The fittest shall survive, while the unfit shall perish. You have been eliminated. Upon learning of the revival of the Taichu ancient mine, Ji Xian's mindset underwent a profound transformation. A great era was about to unfold, and even he must prepare himself. The path to immortality was sure to be soaked in blood. Ji Xian raised his right hand, and waves of chilling sword energy manifested from thin air. The eerie winds howled, and a cacophony of ghostly wails echoed throughout the realm. Slay. In an instant, all disciples of the sacred Beast Mountain were shredded into fragments, and the dense demonic energy coalesced into dark clouds, which Ji Xian absorbed into his being. Current cultivation upper limit. Any stage, second level, Ji Xian stood firm. The ethereal shadow of the underworld god materializing behind him. In that moment, he shed his former gentle demeanor, enveloped in swirling demonic energy, exuding an aura of a fearsome Azura. Sun Huowang and Ao Tian stood side by side, their hearts racing at the sight. The young master seems to have changed somewhat. Ao Tian wiped the sweat from his palms, feeling immensely anxious. Sun Huowang nodded, channeling the battle Saint Law to inscribe the shadow of the underworld god. As the shadows danced, Ji Xian shed the inky black, demonic energy, reverting to his previous serene appearance. He unfastened the mixed element purple gold gourd from his waist, and, using secret powers, began to refine the divine hound within. Roar! A tortured howl emanated from the gourd as the divine hound thrashed violently, seeking escape from its confinement. Yet, before the celestial artifact, all efforts were in vain. Soon, the blood-red divine hound was reduced to a puddle of blood, floating within the extraordinary space of the mixed element purple gold gourd, accompanied by a small orb of vital energy. It is time to impact the quasi-emperor realm, Ji Xian sensed. Retrieving numerous precious heavenly materials from his storage ring. Qinglong essence, Xinming water, sacred spirit grass, rare herbs unseen in the outside world were being cast into the mixed element purple gold gourd as if they were mere refuse. Sun Huowang watched, envious. Master, you are wasting too much. If you don't want them, you can give them to me. Ji Xian shot him a glance and summoned Ao Tian, who approached with small, hurried steps. What is it, young master? Ao Tian asked. Let us drink. Chapter 125, Quasi-Emperor Realm. Before the Beast Master Hall, the three sat cross-legged in contemplation. With a grand wave of his hand, Ji Xian summoned a set of exquisite tables and chairs crafted from spiritual jade, which materialized out of thin air. The furniture resembled delicate carvings of agate, entirely translucent and shimmering, exuding an ethereal aura. A soft, resonant sound echoed as the radiance of the Hongyuan purple gold gourd dimmed. It was ready. Ji Xian raised his hand, and the gourd floated up, beginning to pour wine for the two guests. The goblets filled with a fragrant elixir, rich and intoxicating, captivating the senses. Ao Tian and Sun Huowang instinctively leaned closer to inspect the liquid within their cups. Young master, this. Ao Tian sensed an incredibly familiar essence, reminiscent of experiences in the mortal realm. Ji Xian nodded, signaling them to partake. As the exquisite nectar flowed down, Sun Huowang felt his hair bristle, his tail stiffening like a rod, his body engulfed in a delightful numbness. lacking a wheel of fate. He could only rely on his flesh to refine the medicinal potency. Aotian, having just sipped a small cup, felt his cheeks flush, his mind ringing. And he instantly collapsed. Observing this scene, Ji Xian smiled subtly. This medicinal wine was concocted with an array of sacred herbs and a couple of immortal plants. Even an emperor would have to sip cautiously. A ray of divine light emanated from his fingertips, assisting the two in refining the medicinal essence. Crossing into the realm of the quasi-emperor was no small feat. Merely offering this cup of wine to Sun Huowang was insufficient. Ji Xian contemplated briefly and decided to check on the progress of his disciples in their training. System, open the Disciples Cultivation panel. Opening. Ling Yun, 6th level of the Harmonious Path. Hor Ling Er, 1st level of the Harmonious Path. Ing Zheng, 7th level of the Illusory Realm. Mo Yue and Mo Yuling, 4th level of the Illusory Realm. Not bad. Ji Xian nodded approvingly. In just a few short years, they had made significant breakthroughs. It seemed his fortune as the master of this world was also benefiting his disciples. Extract training rewards. Extracting. Acquired Quasi-Emperor Cultivation, Emperor Artifacts X2, Quasi-Emperor Artifacts X8, Medium-Grade Celestial Sources X18631, High-Grade Spiritual Crystals X13 million, and other rewards. Merge the cultivation. A surge of golden energy swirled within him, cascading streams of golden liquid from above, nourishing the grand imprint of the Tao suspended in the air. The chaotic Tao patterns greedily absorbed the influx of sacred power, their surfaces growing ever brighter. Simultaneously, Ji Xian's cultivation soared, reaching the pinnacle of the great sage realm. Why has it stopped? Ji Xian pondered quietly. Although there was still sacred power left to assimilate, his cultivation seemed to have stagnated. He quickly rifled through the tome of the witchcraft Tao. It became clear that to form the nascent shape of imperial might was necessary. He understood the reason behind this. The quasi-emperor, tribulation saint, realm marked the zenith of the saint realm. To advance further would lead to a transformation. At this moment, Ji Xian needed to select the path he wished to primarily cultivate, thereby defining his momentum to step into the quasi-emperor realm. What path should I primarily cultivate? This posed a challenge for him. Throughout his journey, he had explored a vast array of paths, fire Tao, sword Tao, the Tao of creation, and various celestial techniques, each disparate and lacking a definitive direction. Furthermore, it was essential that the selected path for consolidating momentum be potent. The 10 ancient paths, the 3,000 great ways, and the myriad minor paths present a diverse array of classifications, each distinguished by its own hierarchy. The disparity in the combat prowess and cultivation limits manifested through the aggregation of these different paths is indeed considerable. For instance, a quasi-emperor harnessing the Great Way can typically overpower dozens of quasi-emperors who draw strength from the minor paths with one hand. This is a fundamental disparity that cannot be bridged merely by numbers. Ji Xian introspectively turned his gaze towards the chaotic essence and the source of creation within the Wheel of the Sea. The ancient path, revered as the path of creation, traverses the eons, giving rise to all things. When one gathers strength through the ancient path, their combat power is bound to be unparalleled, with the prospect of ascension to immortality. Yet, it is evident that individuals throughout history have contemplated this notion. He was reluctant to tread the path already walked by others. Regaining his focus, Ji Xian's resolve solidified. By nature, he was proud and unwilling to be constrained. He sought to forge his own path. Suddenly, a thought struck him. Why not embody the path himself and evolve into imperial might? Relying on the contemporary path as a foundation would ultimately confine him within this realm. Additionally, external aids could never lead to completeness. In that moment, clarity began to dawn within him. Indeed, what he desired was to refine himself and push through all obstacles. A spark of inspiration illuminated his mind. In a breathtaking instant, a towering divine silhouette materialized behind Ji Xian, extending its palm, from which a radiant beam of divine light surged forth and entered Ji Xian's being. With a crack, the shackles of his cultivation loosened significantly, and a trace of imperial intent seeped into the Wheel of the Sea. This realization brought him immense joy. He felt he had found his direction. Unleash it, he bellowed, his voice echoing across the mountains and rivers, his momentum soaring. In a thunderous roar, the obstructive barriers shattered instantaneously, as sacred power and a subtle imperial might surged into the Wheel of the Sea like a torrent. In that moment, his cultivation ascended to the quasi-emperor realm. Instantaneously, the spiritual energy within a radius of nearly 100,000 miles was drawn forth, all converging towards the sacred Beast Mountain. The quasi-emperor realm, situated between the sacred and emperor realms, lacks a strict hierarchical division akin to the tribulation realm in the mortal domain. Practitioners in this realm need only seize the opportunities presented by heaven and earth, gaining their acknowledgement, to comprehend the path and ascend to emperorhood. However, this process is fraught with challenges. The vastness and grandeur of heaven and earth have persisted through the ages, making it difficult for anyone to easily capture the opportunities that lie therein. Throughout history, countless practitioners have found themselves ensnared at this juncture, unable to attain enlightenment. ultimately succumbing to the ravages of time as their lifespans wane and they witness the fading of their youth. Yet, within Ji Xian's heart, he had already prepared for the inevitable. A great era of contention was on the horizon, and the future realms would undoubtedly be drenched in blood. Simultaneously, this heralded a golden age. Spurred by the momentum of tribulation, the spiritual energy of the universe accelerated its revival. Ancient beings were resurrected in succession, and obstacles to cultivation diminished. Although the survival of practitioners would become increasingly arduous, the path to enlightenment would be remarkably unobstructed. All these developments stemmed from the imminent opening of the cosmic tide, compelling all beings to navigate through the mortal realm. At the Taichu ancient mine, Ji Xian murmured softly. His fists clenched tightly. If that place was the genesis of all revival, then it was there that he would attain enlightenment, mastering the cosmic tide from its very source. As he was lost in contemplation, a sudden disturbance rippled through the Wheel Sea. In a certain expanse of the ocean, the golden waters swirled in a vortex, continuously converging. In an instant, a diminutive figure, merely a foot tall, emerged on the surface, its form ethereal and as transparent as cicada wings. Yet, Ji Xian recognized the figure at once. It was his own likeness. Within the Wheel Sea, Ji Xian conjured a pair of golden hands to lift the figure. The chaos source immediately sensed the energy, lunging forward like a famished wolf. Bang! The nearly transparent figure merely raised a hand, repelling the chaos source 1,000 miles away, casting it into a deep trench. The primal energies of fire, sword, and creation sensed danger, halting their advance and retreating at great speed, seeking refuge among the golden clouds on the horizon. How formidable! Ji Xian's expression was one of astonishment. This was entirely beyond his expectations. This was merely a shadow. What strength would he possess if he were to fully solidify his imperial might? In the following period, Ji Xian crafted his own celestial realm and devoted himself to meditation, focused solely on consolidating his imperial power. Time flew by. Months passed. During this time, Ji Xian remained engrossed in his path to enlightenment. The shadow of the small figure within the Wheel Sea had solidified considerably, its facial features becoming increasingly distinct and its vitality flourishing. A few days later, Ji Xian let out a soft exclamation, his eyes fluttering open. Instantly, a majestic imperial aura enveloped the entire sacred beast mountain, and Ji Xian's law manifestation appeared out of thin air, exuding great authority. The golden dragon soaring in the sky seemed to be struck by an immense force, crashing down with a resounding thud amidst the forest. Aotian transformed into human form, rising with a dusty visage, brushing off the dirt from his golden attire. What the devil? He muttered, looking up to meet the gaze of the law manifestation. A chill surged from head to toe, and in that moment, he felt as if he were locking eyes with a deity. Is this the young master? Has he grown even stronger, perhaps nearing imperial status? Aotian recollected that fleeting instant with an overwhelming sense of trepidation. It is time to depart. Ji Xian's voice resonated through the mountains, ethereal and sacred. In a flash, 2 streaks of light, one golden and one crimson, soared towards Ji Xian. As Aotian landed, he caught sight of Sun Huowang's comical appearance and could not suppress a chuckle. Sun Huowang's face was smeared black with scorched earth, and several flattened. Rotten peaches were stuck to it, juice dripping down, rendering him quite a sight. Clearly, he had also taken a significant fall. Stupid mudfish, what are you laughing at? Sun Huowang shot Aotian a glare. He then turned to Ji Xian and inquired, Master, what was that just now? That was merely my law manifestation. I lost control momentarily. Fortunately, it was not fatal for you. Ji Xian replied with a smile. Aotian nodded, confirming his suspicions. Master, where is Xiaodou? He hasn't turned into a meat pie, has he? He hasn't reached the sacred realm yet. Aotian suddenly recalled something and hurriedly asked. Elder, I'm right here. Xiaodou emerged from behind Ji Xian. If it weren't for this esteemed gentleman discovering me in time, I would have truly perished. As he gazed at Ji Xian, a hint of trepidation flickered in his eyes. Ji Xian rose and stowed away several artifacts used for enlightenment. Time had slipped away, and it was time to set forth. He summoned a magnificent golden war chariot, drawn by 8 mighty dragon serpents whose roars reverberated through the mountains and rivers. Xiaodou, how do you intend to proceed? Will you join us? Sun Huowang asked, wrapping an arm around Xiaodou's neck. After months of companionship, he had developed a fondness for this honest and unassuming man, which inevitably brought to mind his mischievous younger brother, the 3-legged golden toad. Xiaodou replied, Perhaps it is best I refrain, esteemed sirs. I am but a mere mortal, with limited strength, and truly unworthy to accompany those of the sacred realm. I am deeply grateful for the mercy you have shown, which has spared my life and provided me the means to establish a home. My talents are modest, and without the backing of a formidable force, the hope of breaking through to the sacred realm in this lifetime seems distant. The death of my cousin has made me acutely aware of the impending chaos in the world. I do not wish to meet a similar fate through conflict. For the remainder of my days, I only aspire to marry a good woman and dutifully care for my mother. As he spoke, tears welled in his eyes, and he knelt, performing a profound act of reverence towards Ji Xian. Ji Xian regarded him with an unperturbed demeanor, devoid of any emotional reaction. In times of turmoil, it is evident that no being can remain unscathed. Xiao Dou's desire to withdraw from the world was, regrettably, somewhat naive. Very well, you may go, he said calmly. Thank you for your leniency. Xiao Dou rose, performed another bow, wiped away his tears, and turned to leave. Ao Tian and Sun Huang exchanged glances filled with unease and confusion as they looked at Ji Xian. Ji Xian said nothing further, simply raising a hand to release a mark from his fingertip, which vanished into Xiao Dou's being. Let us depart, he commanded. Indeed, came the reply. The chariot surged to life, the 8 dragon serpents issuing a thunderous roar that shook the sacred mountains. Occasionally, a golden path unfurled from the horizon. The wheels churned and thundered, soaring skyward and soon disappearing into the sea of clouds. On a distant peak, Xiao Dou turned back suddenly, staring blankly at the now vanquished sacred beast mountain. A power that had endured for countless millennia had been so easily annihilated. The world was on the brink of chaos. May my choice prove to be wise, he thought, before vanishing from sight. The expanse of the 3,000 states was vast, and despite traversing the void, Ji Xian and his companions found themselves still far from the Ji family. After half a month of travel, they arrived in another state and ascended a new teleportation array. This time, no assassins from the divine dynasty appeared, and their passage through the void was remarkably smooth. The journey consumed several more months. After several transitions, Ji Xian and his group successfully crossed the distance of over 1,000 states, arriving at the Ji family's domain in Tianzhou. The Ji family commanded a sprawling territory encompassing dozens of states, rich in resources and power. Tianzhou was indeed the heart of their lineage. Along the way, Ji Xian discerned numerous formidable forces converging upon the Ji family. These individuals were guests arriving for a banquet, hailing from various illustrious powers across the 3,000 states. And Ji Xian sensed the faintest traces of supreme energy. The Ji family, the holy city of Ziwei. This ancient holy city, belonging to the Ji family, has existed for over 1,000,000 years and serves as the venue for the grand banquet. Outside the city, vehicles and riders form long, serpentine lines, progressing slowly. Days have passed, and some cultivators remain stationary. Yet, no one dares to cut in line or incite chaos, for they are acutely aware of the Ji family's formidable heritage, which even the most revered holy sects cannot rival. The Yinyang sect, permitted. The Daoi Holy Land, permitted. The soldiers stationed at the city gates meticulously verify identities, allowing entry one by one. On either side of the procession, numerous cultivators gather, lacking the qualifications to enter the city for the banquet, merely observing from afar. Heavens! The Yinyang sect and the Daoi Holy Land. These are the pinnacle powers among the 3,000 states, exclaimed a wandering cultivator. Indeed, the Ji family's once-in-a-millennium holy banquet cannot be anything less than grand, remarked a nearby cultivator with a crooked smile. Alas! If only I were eligible to enter the holy city. Surely, great opportunities await. Oh, give it up. Without a holy land as your backing, you're merely dreaming. Young master, it's our turn. Ao Tian lifted the curtain of the carriage, addressing Ji Xian. The 8-headed flood dragons moved forward slowly, coming to a halt before the city gates under Ao Tian's command. A resounding dragon's roar erupted, sending a powerful gust of wind that nearly knocked the guards off their feet. Xian Tian Dao sect, permitted. The soldier verifying identities hesitated upon uttering this name. For a fleeting moment, the commotion outside ceased, and all gazes turned towards the city gate tower. The name of the Xiantian Dao sect had circulated widely across the states over the past year. It is said that its sect master clashed with the emperor of the underworld and successfully repelled him, leaving the world's cultivators in awe. However, this news was quickly dismissed by the ancient powers, claiming that the emperor's emergence was restricted by an agreement, rendering the rumor baseless. Nonetheless, the fervor surrounding the Xiantian Dao sect remained unabated, as it hinted at the Ji family's internal secrets, sparking much speculation without conclusive judgments. Boom! The ancient war chariot entered the city. As it vanished from sight, various forces outside began transmitting messages, reporting the situation in the holy city to their respective sections. In an instant, numerous grand sects responded. Before the banquet commenced, the winds of change had already begun to stir. Chapter 127. Movements of the Underworld Mountain in the 9 heavens and 10 earths. The Underworld Mountain loomed beneath the ink-black heavens. The purple-black mountain range stretched for billions of miles, resembling a slumbering giant dragon in its majesty. A silver palace perched atop the clouds, imposing and magnificent. Inside the hall, a massive screen shimmered, displaying the image of a man in black robes being struck in the forehead by a mysterious figure with a blurred visage, triggering a restriction that led to his demise. With a flicker, the screen extinguished. Ladies and gentlemen, what are your thoughts? A lean man atop the steps of the hall inquired of those below. He was the vice master of the 9th hall of the Underworld Mountain. Vice master, could this individual possibly be the same one who obstructed our entry into the Wanyao state? A cultivator below asked. Indeed. I have summoned you all here to deliberate on strategies to confront this individual, the vice palace master began. Please, my esteemed vice palace master, let us not jest. This person possesses the capability to rival our palace master. How can we, mere practitioners of the Holy Realm, dare to stand against him? Indeed, while we have existed for millennia, we are still far from matching an emperor's might. Just days ago, 3 grand saints attempted to devise a plan against him, only to meet an untimely demise the moment they began their incantations. How terrifying. Perhaps we should abandon this endeavor. Below, the assembly of practitioners voiced their doubts regarding the Vice Palace Master's proposal. The Vice Palace Master, holding a staff in his right hand, struck the ground, commanding silence. He cast a glance at the empty throne above. This is the Palace Master's directive. Do any of you dissent? Upon hearing this, the disciples turned pale, instantly quieting down. Rest assured, I do not intend for you to confront him directly. Instead, you are to investigate an ancient site. As the Palace Master suspects, it may harbor undiscovered divine treasures, perhaps even celestial artifacts. The practitioners fell momentarily silent. Celestial artifacts? Are you jesting, Vice Palace Master? Where is this ancient site located? Excitement ignited among the crowd, their eyes gleaming with anticipation. Divine treasures are coveted even by the ancient aristocracy. Among the myriad realms, places worthy of the title divine treasure are exceedingly rare. The Vice Palace Master replied, indeed, the divine treasure lies within the Xiantian Dao sect of the 3,000 states. Your task is not to assault, but merely to explore that region and report any anomalies back to the Underworld Mountain. As for the resources of the surrounding sects, you may handle them as you see fit. The Vice Palace Master wore a sly smile, his tone laced with amusement. He refrained from uttering the name Jianyan Mountain. 3,000 states? Are we truly permitted to venture beyond the Underworld Mountain? Are you implying we may enter the world? The practitioners were incredulous. Is it true? Vice Palace Master, they exclaimed. I've languished in the Underworld Mountain for tens of thousands of years, my lifespan nearly depleted. And now you tell me we can enter the world. Lamented an ancient figure with the body of a snake and the head of a man. Naturally, with the Vice Palace Master's affirmation, the hall erupted in jubilant cheers. Many practitioners moved to tears. The Underworld Mountain has remained hidden from the world for countless millennia. Finally, it is to emerge. However, a sudden exclamation shattered the revelry. The Xiantian Dao sect? Isn't that the domain of that enigmatic figure? Some practitioners began to piece the implications together, offering sharp critiques. There's no need for concern. Our scouts report that Ji Xian has already ventured beyond the 1,000 states and will not return for some time. The Palace Master has already calculated the heavenly mechanisms regarding this matter. All will proceed smoothly, replied the Vice Palace Master. The practitioners finally exhaled in relief. With the Palace Master's calculations, there should be no significant issues. Indeed, with the Emperor's assistance, what is there to fear? For the divine treasure, I shall play the role of the thief, they declared with enthusiasm. Let us depart at once. I have yet to experience the pleasures of the mortal realm. The Vice Palace Master nodded in satisfaction before directing his mind towards a secluded corner deep within the palace. In that place, an incomprehensible sword intent surged, accompanied by the ferocious roar of a tiger formed from the might of an emperor. No matter how long you have traversed the heavens and the earth, in the end, you shall meet your demise. Once the divine treasure of Jianyan Mountain is shattered, your era will conclusively come to an end, making way for the age of the Underworld Mountain. In the holy city of Ziwei, good lady, how much for these peaches? Sun Huang eagerly leaned over a stall, eyeing the glistening red peaches with excitement as he rubbed his little hands together. An elderly woman, her figure stooped, trembled as she extended 5 fingers, swaying them from side to side. What? They are free? Then I shall take 2. The old woman clarified, I meant 5. Sun Huang's eyes widened in surprise. 5? What does that mean? Picking 2 is not free, but 5 are? Good lady, there are not many bodhisattvas like you. Under the astonished and slightly displeased gaze of the old woman, Sun Huang stuffed one peach after another into his mouth. The elderly matron, with her toothless mouth quivering, raised a bamboo pole, poised to strike the mischievous boy before her. Enough. Stop looking, you dead monkey. Ao Tian swiftly pulled him away, following closely behind Ji Xian. Can you not act like a country bumpkin? He shot a glare at Sun Huang. Humph, and you dare to say that? You were practically mesmerized by the barbecue stall the moment we entered the city. Sun Huang retorted without hesitation. Ahead, Ji Xian strolled down the bustling street, tall and ethereal in his flowing white attire, appreciating the vibrant atmosphere of the holy city. His strides were small, yet seemed to stretch far beyond, each step appearing to cover dozens of paces. An inexplicable aura enveloped him, causing passing cultivators to feel a momentary terror and instinctively retreat. Young master, just 100 paces ahead is the flying immortal pavilion, Ao Tian whispered as he approached Ji Xian. Indeed, Ji Xian nodded. There are still a few days before the grand banquet begins. As you suggested, let us rest there for the time being. Understood. The group turned the corner, heading towards the distant celestial tower. On a nearby balcony, a young man clad in red observed their figures in secret. He spoke, Your Highness. Are you certain it is him? Yes, it is confirmed. Take your people from Qishao sacred land with you. As for the benefits, you shall not be shortchanged. A young man in blue replied with a smile from the shadows. The young man in red appeared somewhat apprehensive. Your Highness, is he truly a supporter of the esteemed Mingho saint? Moreover, I have heard from the Jianghu that the man in white bears the Ji surname. If we act against him and the elders of the Ji family learn of it, it will be difficult for you to handle. Offending one saint for another seems unwise. Were it not for the fact that this saint granted him half a stock of the immortal medicine, he would never agree to act as a shooter. The Ji family saint replied, this person is merely a wild offspring from a certain lineage. As for Mingho, the competition among saints is permitted by the clan. So you need not worry. Just focus on your duties, and when necessary, I will provide assistance. Understood. Chapter 128. The Flying Immortal Pavilion within the Flying Immortal Pavilion. The neon lights flickered in a dazzling display, accompanied by the sounds of laughter and revelry, where song and dance flourished. Dressed in revealing attire, the dancers swayed their enchanting forms, moving in harmony with the celestial melodies produced by the instruments. Their bodies, with curves that ebbed and flowed, resembled ripe autumn persimmons. Swaying gracefully, the sight of their snow-white thighs and necks flashed intermittently, enveloping the air with a delicate fragrance of rouge. Hey, handsome, come and play. The tinkling laughter, reminiscent of silver bells, echoed as a line of dancers greeted a few individuals at the entrance. Ji Xian and his companions stood at the doorway, momentarily taken aback. Hey, you slippery eel, didn't you say the Flying Immortal Pavilion was a place for dining? Sun Huang rubbed his eyes and spoke. Aotian scratched his head. Indeed. Places like this, called immortal pavilions, are usually taverns. How could this be? At that moment, a drunken man stumbled out from within the establishment. Aotian seized him and inquired. Hey there, my friend, isn't this place called the Flying Immortal Pavilion? Why does it resemble a brothel? The man, inebriated, replied with a slur. Hey, isn't that easy to understand? The Flying Immortal Pavilion is meant for you to experience pleasure firsthand, to the point of soaring like an immortal. You must be newcomers, he continued. Allow me to introduce you to our best technician. Aotian's expression darkened as he clutched the man's collar and hurled him outside. Look at this wretched place you chose. Hurry and find another. My master prefers tranquil surroundings. Sun Huang feigned a scolding tone. No need. This will suffice. Some are already eager, Ji Xian remarked, seemingly aware, retracting his spread consciousness with a smile. Believing Ji Xian was alluding to something, Aotian's face flushed. Young master, I didn't tea. I'm still quite young. Huh, you slippery eel. Who would believe you? Sun Huang retorted. Indeed, the dragoness nature is fundamentally indulgent. He added with a jab. Enough, you monkey. I've heard all about your misdeeds in Wanyao Prefecture. Dare you claim you've never visited such places? Aotian exclaimed, quite indignant. Of course. I've never been to such a place. Sun Huang declared, thumping his chest with conviction. A well-dressed matron overheard their conversation and descended from the upper floor. Her heavy makeup and alluring smile exuded an air of worldliness. Ah, gentlemen, what level of service do you intend to indulge in? In response to the matron's invitation, Ji Xian maintained his composure, remaining silent. Aotian, feeling shy, hid behind Ji Xian, clutching his sleeve while peering out. Only Sun Huang, with a broad grin and a friendly demeanor, approached the matron directly. Hey, madam, summon your finest courtesans. My master wishes to have a delightful evening. The matron paused in surprise before bursting into laughter. What is the matter? Did I say something wrong? Sun Huang asked, bewildered. Not at all, young brother. Your phrasing is simply too professional. I didn't catch on immediately. The matron chuckled. Sun Huang felt a sudden sensation and, upon turning back, discovered that Ji Xian and Aotian were regarding him with peculiar expressions. Humph, claiming he has never been here, Aotian muttered under his breath, tugging at Ji Xian's sleeve with a hint of disdain in his gaze. Ji Xian scrutinized Sun Huang with a silent smile. Sun Huang's face flushed crimson. Realizing he had been exposed, he stretched his neck and let out a long cry. From this day forth, I, old son, shall have no dealings with gambling or drugs. Hee hee, little brother, you are truly adorable. Come join us. A dancer clasped Sun Huang's hand, seemingly intent on dragging him into a small dark room. Sun Huang quickly retreated, positioning himself beside Ji Xian. The madam, perceptive as she was, instantly recognized Ji Xian as the true master. Ah, esteemed sir, to what extent do you wish to indulge? Perhaps a quieter place? It may get rather lively later, and we wouldn't want to disturb business here, Ji Xian replied. The madam's eyes gleamed with understanding. Oh, so your capabilities are quite substantial. Rest assured, our ladies are of the finest quality, guaranteed to satisfy. Bring the gentleman to the Tianzi Pavilion. Subsequently, Ji Xian and his companions, surrounded by a throng of painted ladies, ascended the cloud ladder of the Flying Immortal Tower. During their ascent, curious sounds occasionally echoed from various floors. Gentlemen, we have arrived. The madam opened the door and stepped inside first. To their surprise, the top floor of the Flying Immortal Tower revealed an entirely different world. The ambience starkly contrasted with the brothel below. It was serene and elegant, shrouded in mist, adorned with jagged rocks and the soothing sound of trickling springs. All manner of living and entertainment facilities were present. Gentlemen, are you satisfied? The madam inquired with a smile. Sun Huang, as exuberant as ever, bounced around, eagerly examining everything. Ji Xian nodded and tossed her a pouch of high-grade spirit crystals, worth at least 10,000. No need for change. And do not allow anyone else in. The madam accepted the pouch, her eyes widening in astonishment at its contents. Sir, you are quite generous. I insist, no need, Ji Xian reiterated. The madam exited the room, her hands trembling slightly as she held the pouch. What a fortune! This could be the revenue of the Flying Immortal Tower for an entire quarter. Below the Flying Immortal Tower, the holy son of Qishao gazed at the revelry before him. His expression bemused. They have come to such a place? Is this the conduct befitting a master of a sect? An old, stooped figure emerged behind him, rasping, Holy Son. In such indulgent locales, acts of violence are less likely to be detected. That man in white has likely anticipated our movements. You must exercise caution. Humph. The Holy Son scoffed. Do you think me foolish? Without the Ji family's consent, no one is permitted to act in this Ziwei holy city. My purpose in taking action is merely to test the waters. When that man in white strikes, we shall summon the Ji family's guards, employing a borrowed knife to slay, claiming a stock of the immortal herb without cost. How delightful. I have no doubt he would not dare to harm me. The holy son of Qishao. The old man chuckled. Your wisdom is unparalleled, holy son. The holy son of Qishao strode confidently into the Flying Immortal Pavilion. Ah, esteemed gentlemen. What kind of services would you like to indulge in? The madam approached once more, with her delicate fingers gliding over the robust chest of the holy son. Her voice was sweet and enchanting. The holy son swallowed hard and instinctively replied, the highest standard, please. Your Highness, do not let this distract you. Chapter 129, A Forceful Suppression. The elders of the Qishao Holy Land quickly pulled their holy son back, casting a fierce glare at the seductive madam. You vile woman. How dare you tempt our holy son? The madam feigned innocence. Oh dear, do not falsely accuse me. It was clearly the holy son who initiated this. The elder glared menacingly and retorted, enough. We are here under the mandate of the Ji family. In this Ziwei holy city. Do you dare to defy the will of the Ji family? The madam's expression shifted at these words. In this city, the Ji family was akin to the heavens. Esteemed gentlemen, what is the will of the Ji family? Another elder stepped forward, sweeping his large sleeve, revealing the figures of 3 individuals. Which layer do they occupy? The madam looked down. Aside from the leading figure in white whose face she could not discern, the other 2 resembled the previous 2 young men. So, the leader must be. The madam momentarily lost her train of thought, recalling the dignified figure in white. Could these individuals be the Ji family's enforcers? This was troublesome. Feeling the weight of spirit crystals in her bosom, she attempted to stabilize the situation. Esteemed gentlemen, with the Holy Land banquet approaching, is there truly a need for such upheaval? Perhaps we could rest a while in the Flying Immortal Pavilion. Suddenly, the elder advanced, seizing the madam's throat. Wretched woman, if you do not reveal the whereabouts of those individuals, I shall raise this Flying Immortal Pavilion to the ground. The madam's complexion turned purple as she neared suffocation. Faced with the Ji family, any thought of resistance fled her mind. Naturally, she held no hope. Regardless of the power backing the Flying Immortal Pavilion, in the struggle between life and reputation, she ultimately chose the former. They are in the Tianzi Pavilion. Ji Xian gazed at the sign of this small realm, murmuring to himself. Nearby, Sun Huang was leaping about, engaged in a tussle with Ao Tian. Hush! Suddenly, Ji Xian turned and raised his index finger. They are coming. Just as the words left his lips, a resounding sword cry echoed from the outside. Reverberating throughout the Ziwei holy city, a breathtaking crimson sword light streaked across the night sky, descending with overwhelming sacred might. A vast section of the Flying Immortal Pavilion was shattered in an instant, reduced to countless fragments. Only the Tianzi Pavilion at the very top remained unscathed. Ji Xian stood atop the pavilion, quietly observing the approaching forces of the Qishao Holy Land. So impatient. Have they resolved to end me before the grand banquet has even commenced? The elder of the Qishao Holy Land, wielding a crimson sacred sword, hovered in the air, his eyes gleaming with cold light and murderous intent. The holy son of Qishao flew out from behind and inquired, Elder, how confident are you? Uncertain. But we cannot delay for long. Some cultivators have already taken notice, the elder replied. On the ground of the Ziwei holy city, many cultivators had already taken note of the unusual occurrences at the Flying Immortal Tower. We must urgently compel him to act, allowing the holy son of the Ji family to dispatch someone to suppress him. Oh, youngster, do enlighten us. Which holy son of the Ji family do you refer to? Suddenly, a chilling male voice resonated, carried by the howling cold wind, reaching the ears of several individuals in the Qishao Holy Land, evoking a sense of dread. As the smoke cleared, they became aware of Ji Xian standing atop the roof, clad in resplendent white garments that fluttered in the wind, mockingly gazing at them. In the darkness, his divine eyes sparkled like stars, radiating vibrant colors in a breathtaking display. An instantaneous chill coursed through the bodies of the onlookers. You are Ji Xian, the holy son of Qishao. A breath of cold air escaped their lips. Being so close to him, they truly felt the terrifying aura he emanated. Even if he wasn't as legendary as rumored, his strength was undoubtedly formidable. Attack! The elders of Qishao Holy Land launched their assault without hesitation, conjuring several secret treasures in unison. A combined strike to eliminate this individual. Kill. In an instant, numerous sacred weapons were activated, and a surge of energy rippled from above. Only then did the cultivators on the ground fully comprehend the situation. Who dares to strike in ZY Holy City, unafraid of the G family's retribution? Cough. One cultivator, unable to withstand the impact, spat out a mouthful of black blood. It is the energy fluctuation of a saint venerable. Retreat quickly. Thunder rumbled above ZY Holy City, as the sacred weapons released their crimson glow, staining the moon red. Faced with the sudden ambush, Ji Xian showed no intention of countering. Mere sacred weapons dared to be so audacious. He had already ascended to the pinnacle of the saint path. Even a slight release of his saintly power was sufficient to repel the sacred weapons. With full force, eliminate him. The elders of Qishao Holy Land united their strength, the red radiance of the sacred weapons intensifying. Upon sensing the disturbance in the void above, Ji Xian chuckled coldly. Old fools, being used as pawns, yet still exerting themselves so vigorously. Then allow me to fulfill your end. Ji Xian's voice was icy as he stepped forward, treading upon the void. With hands clasped behind him, merely dispersing his saintly power was enough to obliterate all and thwart every attack. The harsh clang of metal rang out as Ji Xian approached. Several sacred weapons gradually dimmed, ultimately transforming into mere scrap metal. The elders, witnessing this, turned ashen. This man has yet to strike, and merely with his oppressive aura, he can annihilate sacred weapons. Retreat. Holy Son, flee. We have severely underestimated his strength. The legends are not fabricated. The elders coughed blood, hastily retreating. However, Ji Xian's overwhelming pressure followed closely behind, in an instant obliterating two elders entirely. The Holy Son of Qishao was flung 100 miles away by the residual force, tumbling through the air repeatedly. He was filled with terror, turning back to exclaim, "How dare you kill in ZY Holy City? You have violated the Ji family's rules." Ji Xian replied with a faint smile, remarking on how an outsider dares to invoke the Ji family's rules. "Did you consider these rules when you struck at me? Die." The pressure descended with the swiftness of a leopard, striking with ferocity. Bang! Yet another elder was crushed, their essence extinguished. In mere moments, all three cultivators of the Saint Venerable realm had perished. The onlookers on the ground were struck with terror, their hearts racing in disbelief. In less than a heartbeat, such a shocking transformation had occurred within the vibrant night of the ZY Holy City. Good heavens, the recently fallen were all figures of the Saint Venerable caliber. Ancient relics of the sacred lands, now reduced to nothingness. Who? In the Holy City, to strike down lives indiscriminately is the act of a madman who considers not the consequences. The son of Qishao was truly terrified. This individual was decisive in their slaughter, showing no regard for humanity or rules. Such madness is unfathomable. One cannot imagine the fate that awaits those who offend the Ji family. Death is upon us. Ji Xian conjured a pair of colossal hands, lifting the son of Qishao with ease. "Which son of the Ji family are you?" he inquired. "We merely intended to test the waters, yet you resorted to murder. Do you understand what the Ji—" A chilling scream interrupted him. The arm of the son of Qishao was brutally torn asunder, blood raining down. His disheveled hair danced wildly as he howled to the heavens. "Bashi, save me." At that moment, a distant bell toll resonated, echoing throughout the ZY Holy City. A purple radiance ignited upon the horizon. The Ji family's void ship soared forth from the ether, radiating a dazzling divine light. A mature male voice, akin to the sound of a deity, reverberated throughout every corner of the ZY Holy City. Cultivators of the Xiantian Dao sect and the Qishao sacred land have engaged in private conflict within the ZY Holy City, resulting in casualties. According to the laws of the Ji family, both parties shall be executed. Chapter 130. Confronting the Supreme Emperor's artifact high above in the celestial expanse. Ji Bashi, the son of the Ji family, stood alongside a cadre of elders, the breath of the Tao flowing around them, akin to immortals gracing the mortal realm. Upon hearing this verdict, the son of Qishao was left momentarily stunned. "Bashi, what do you mean by this? Did we not agree that I would initiate a probe, and you would come to my aid?" Ji Bashi, surrounded by a cascade of purple light, cradled a resplendent star in his hand, his expression inscrutable. "You possess quite the audacity, Qishao. When did this holy son ever agree to such a matter? I only witnessed your clandestine engagement with the leader of the Xiantian Dao sect, violating the regulations of the ZY Holy City. Speak further, and I shall strike you down immediately." With that, the star in his grasp shimmered with brilliant starlight, an overwhelming pressure expanding like a tidal wave, suffocating all in its wake. The son of Qishao's countenance shifted, his expression dimming. "No wonder you dared to offer me the elixir of immortality. It was all a deception." His hair whipped wildly as he spat in fury. "Ji Bashi, may you meet a dreadful end." In response, Ji Xian's oppressive aura surged forth, crushing him with relentless force. Observing this, Ji Bashi wore a semblance of a smile, turning his gaze towards Ji Xian. "He seeks death, what of you?" Ji Xian, facing the assembly of the Ji family, remained composed. "Oh, your Ji family's ability to distort truth is indeed remarkable. I merely acted in self-defense. How did it devolve into a private conflict, now branded with the mark of death?" Ji Boxiao sneered repeatedly, his expression one of disdain, for in this Ziwei holy city, the Ji family was akin to the heavens. If you doubt it, just ask the cultivators below what they witnessed. On the ground, many cultivators regained their senses. The members of the Ji family stood as if divine beings, merely elevated above, instilling a fear in the crowd that rendered them unable to meet their gaze. Moments later, someone spoke up. What I saw was the white-clad man strike down those from the Qishao Holy Land. It's unclear who provoked first, but a fight undoubtedly ensued. I only observed the actions of that white-clad figure and did not notice the presence of the Qishao Holy Land as people. A saint-level cultivator emerged, cradling a corpse, crying out, "Your Highness, the Saint's son, my brother was killed by the recent surge of energy. Please seek justice for us, Your Highness." This declaration instantly stirred the discontent of others. All my peaches have been smashed. Damn it. While at Feishian Tower, the task was only half complete when the building collapsed. I had just rung the bell. In the next moment, one after another, people stood up, further inciting the flames of outrage. "Your Highness, kill him." "Yes, Your Highness. He should be slain for violating the rules of Ziwei Holy City." Faced with the derision of the cultivators and the common folk, Ji Xian's countenance darkened, a fierce killing intent swirling within him. Ji Boxiao queried, "Is there still any room for argument at this moment?" Ji Xian's eyes turned icy as he regarded Ji Boxiao, speaking in a low voice. "You must know who I am. I have traveled countless miles to this place solely to settle matters with the Ji family. I have no interest in discovering who orchestrated your actions from behind the scenes, nor do I care to inquire. I merely wish to ascertain whether your actions reflect the Ji family's stance towards me." At this juncture, the temperature around Ji Xian plummeted, his murderous intent coiling like a spring, poised to obliterate all in his path. A flicker of hesitation crossed Ji Boxiao's eyes. As he pondered, "This accusation seems rather grand, but with my father and brother standing firm, there is no need for concern." "Yes, and so what?" Upon hearing this, Ji Xian's brow furrowed. "Very well, then. If that is the case, the existence of this Ziwei holy city is rendered unnecessary." At this proclamation, all cultivators erupted in laughter. They're facing death, yet still posturing. How can one person shake the foundations of the Ji family's holy city? It is akin to an ant attempting to shake a tree, a mere speck of dust aspiring to compete with the moon's brilliance. An elder from the Ji family stepped forward, rebuking, "You wild spawn, surrender at once and await your fate." Before he could finish, his entire being was torn apart as if subjected to the force of a chariot, disintegrating rapidly. In an instant, flesh and bone transformed into a pool of thick black blood, exuding a putrid stench as it plummeted. Protect the Saint's son. The sudden turn of events caused the elders to gasp in shock. They hurriedly shielded Ji Boxiao, unleashing several powerful artifacts. Bang, bang, bang. Without question, all saint-level treasures turned to scrap the moment they approached within 100 miles of Ji Xian. He lifted his cold gaze slightly, his aura unperturbed. As he advanced step by step, it is truly unexpected that neither the descent of revered masters nor the emergence of the Killer God dynasty has prompted any restraint from you. It seems I have been too lenient. Kill. With a long, resonant cry, Ji Xian unleashed a torrent of murderous intent that surged forth like a tidal wave. In an instant, dark clouds amassed overhead, blazing like a great inferno. The dawn that was on the cusp of breaking was once again shrouded in darkness. An endless, biting wind descended from the heavens like a dagger, lacerating the faces of the gathered cultivators, causing their very souls to tremble and rendering them immobile. What is happening? My sacred power cannot be activated. My wheel of sea has fallen into an eerie silence. What has that individual done? Many cultivators regretted their decision to involve themselves, for the presence of the man in white was overwhelmingly terrifying. This is imperial might. An elder from an earlier generation was the first to realize, his expression fraught with fear. What is that? A cultivator gazed into the heavens and cried out. At the pinnacle of the clouds, a towering phantom of the underworld emerged, wielding a long spear and a divine sword, coldly surveying the mortal realm as if poised to commence a slaughter. The laughter of countless wraiths echoed, mocking those who dared to provoke such a deity of death. The phantom of the underworld brandished its spear, unleashing a shadowy beam as deep and unfathomable as an abyss, engulfing the elder of the Ji family who stood guard, scattering his soul to the winds. How does this differ from the speculations of my father and brothers? Ji Boxiao, shielding the front, felt his arms tremble slightly, the haughty expression on his face replaced by sheer terror. "It's coming for us again. Utilize the supreme weapon to protect the Holy Sun," an elder shouted, exuding the aura of a perfected sacred sovereign. With a sweeping motion of his sleeve, he summoned an ancient cauldron. "Fellow clansmen, assist me in activating the supreme weapon. I do not believe we cannot subdue him." Thus, over a dozen elders acted in unison, channeling their sacred power to activate the quasi-imperial weapon. Kill. The cauldron-shaped quasi-imperial weapon emanated a faint glow, imbued with an ancient aura, as if it had traversed from the primordial era. The cultivators present felt an immense weight upon their spirits. The Ji family has summoned a quasi-imperial weapon. Thunder rumbled. The great cauldron summoned the might of the heavens. Swiftly expanding to the size of a mountain, rampaging forth with unstoppable force. Though a blunt instrument, it possessed a world-shattering edge, and after traveling a distance, it even managed to pierce a wisp of the underworld's essence. It's working. Let us fight our way out. The elder rejoiced. The hardness of the supreme weapon is comparable to that of an emperor's physical form, capable of shattering the ancient divine mountains with a single strike. What grain is so abrasive? Ji Xian felt the slight grit in his palm and furrowed his brow. Activating his divine sight, he looked down. A quasi-imperial weapon. But what of it? Ultimately, it is but a borrowed strength. Ji Xian narrowed his eyes, the faint imperial might within his wheel of sea manifesting. A pair of colossal hands reached out from the void, merging with Ji Xian's corporeal form, embodying an overwhelming force capable of severing all paths. Cradling the cauldron within his grasp. Bang, bang, crack. The sound of metal fracturing reverberated through the air, shaking the very core of those present, deafening in its intensity. Above, the cauldron erupted violently, shattering the fabric of space, as a deluge of void surged forth like black mist, consuming all in its path. The weapon carrier shattered, and the surging waves of Imperial might instantly spiraled out of control, erupting in all directions. Countless lowly cultivators were obliterated in that moment, their forms and spirits annihilated. Even the elder generation of cultivators bore the brunt of the aftermath, suffering severe injuries. The expression of the elder from the Ji family changed dramatically. How could a quasi-imperial weapon, comparable to the body of an emperor, be destroyed? Chapter 131. The Ji family in shock. Ji family, Divine Void Island. In the council hall, smack. Bo Duan, who authorized you to privately mobilize the extreme weapons. Ji Yuanzhong, the head of the Ji family, slammed the table and inquired solemnly. Clad in a divination robe, Ji Bo Duan remained composed, a smile playing upon his lips. As an elder of our lineage, how could I lack the qualification to mobilize extreme weapons? Ji Yuanzhong retorted angrily, with the imminent emergence of the primordial ancient mind and the tense situation. All forces below the imperial realm of the Ji family should be under my control. This is sheer nonsense. The other elders present stood up to mediate. Brother Yuanzhong, let it go. If the mobilization has occurred, there won't be any mishaps within the confines of the ZY sacred city. Let us continue discussing the matters concerning the primordial ancient mind. Ji Yuanzhong's mood slightly eased, yet a sense of foreboding lingered in the air. He pressed further. To where have you redirected it? And for what purpose? Who is wielding it? Ji Bo Duan, fanning himself, replied nonchalantly, naturally. I have sent it with my son to suppress that wild seed outside. Indeed. Upon hearing this, Ji Yuanzhong's brows furrowed, veins bulging as he raised his sleeve. Ready to strike. If I don't discipline you today, have you forgotten that I am your uncle? The other elders swiftly rose to restrain Ji Yuanzhong, preventing him from succumbing to rage. In the council hall, several external sects were present. If the Ji family were to quarrel internally, it would reflect poorly. What did I say? Allow him to attend the sacred feast, and then we would decide afterward. Do you take my words as mere trifles? Every extreme weapon is tied to the survival of our lineage. If something goes awry, I will hold you accountable. Ji Yuanzhong's fervor escalated. Ji Bo Duan remained unfazed. Head. There is no need for such measures against the rebellious wild seed. Rest assured, this matter is under my purview. Moreover, he discreetly conveyed to Ji Yuanzhong. Avoiding the gaze of all present, this is permitted by the ancestor Wu Wang. The ancestor Wu Wang. A tremor coursed through Ji Yuanzhong's heart. He has awakened. The ancestor Wu Wang was a legendary emperor of the Ji family, existing for over 1,000,000 years, one of the family's greatest legacies. In his later years, he had to lie in a crystal coffin to prolong his life, awaiting the moment of the Ji family's survival to intervene. Ji Bo Duan replied with a smile, indeed. Predictions indicate that the primordial ancient mind will emerge within 3 years, and the ancestor Wu Wang will surely make an appearance. Following this battle, the 9 heavens and 10 earths will once again fall under our dominion, just as they did millennia ago. As for that wild seed from the Xintian Dao sect, it is merely a matter of clearing the way and leveraging power for the Ji family. Rest assured, there will be no issues. Hearing this, Ji Yuanzhong's expression softened. Since it was the ancestor's decree, he had no right to interfere further. At that moment, a disciple rushed into the council hall in a state of disarray. What is the cause of such alarm? Inquired Ji Bo Duan, turning to face him. One of our elders has perished, his life force extinguished within the holy city of Ziwei. What? Exclaimed the assembled elders in shock. Who would dare to lay a hand on a member of the Ji family in the Ziwei holy city? Suddenly, an unparalleled roar erupted from the ground, akin to an ancient bell of doom being struck with tremendous force, sending a shiver down the spines of all present. Even the most powerful elders felt an unsettling tremor in their hearts. What is happening? Ji Yuanzhong strode out of the hall with purpose. Before him, on the horizon of the Ziwei district, a mushroom cloud ascended, towering towards the heavens. Thick, dark gray smoke mingled with golden sparks filled the air, and merely gazing at it caused a suffocating weight in the chest. It bore the unmistakable aura of an ultimate weapon. Could it be that Bo Xiao succeeded? Ji Bo Duan felt a surge of elation. If so, he could entirely eradicate the unrighteous lineage for the sake of his clan's development. Furthermore, his son, Ji Boxiao, would solidify his prestige within the Ji family, overshadowing the other two holy sons. Beside him, Ji Yuanzhong stared blankly in disbelief at the spectacle. His usually composed visage turned pale, lips trembling incessantly. As the highest-ranking elder present, merely a step away from the emperor, he was acutely aware of the power's fluctuations. The ultimate weapon had been destroyed. Ji Yuanzhong stammered in shock. What? Ji Buduan's heart sank. Is it possible that Xiaoer, quickly, send someone to investigate and rescue Holy Son Boxiao? He commanded urgently to the guards below. The guard bowed in response, reporting to Elder Buduan. Holy Son Mingho has already gone. Mingho, a middle-aged man in scholarly robes, burst forth, intent on pursuing through the air. He was none other than Ji Mingho's father. Ji Yuanzhong conjured a massive hand, restraining him. Uncle, please save Mingho. He is but 1,000 years old, still a child. The man cried out. Ji Yuanzhong replied solemnly. Rest assured, every seed of the Ji family's holy sons shall remain safe. Come, follow me. His expression grave, he hastened towards the direction of the explosion. The timing and location of this incident were far beyond his expectations. However, what worried him most was whether Ji Xian could indeed destroy the ultimate weapon and retain that person's presence with his own strength. In the Ziwei holy city, Ji Xian sat cross-legged in the void, garbed in flowing white, his black hair dancing lightly. His deep-set black eyes appeared fathomless, his countenance stern, surrounded by an ethereal aura, exuding an air of solemnity akin to a divine monarch. Amidst the ruins shrouded in black smoke, he radiated brilliance like the stars, dazzling and resplendent. From beneath the debris, a few surviving cultivators crawled forth, their eyes drawn toward the celestial figure, compelled to kneel in reverence. In his palm, Ji Xian held a colorful spatial cage, imprisoning several members of the Ji family. He seemed to be awaiting something, hesitating to strike. Do you have any final words before you perish? An elder shouted hoarsely. You wretch, release us at once. The reinforcements from the Ji family are already on their way. Ji Xian's gaze turned icy, and he retorted, Did I ask you? Merely being stared at caused the elder to be instantly engulfed in flames, reduced to mere ashes. Ji Boxiao's legs weakened, leaving him unable to stand, as this figure loomed like a divine pillar before him, suffocating him. With trepidation, he stammered, Do not overstep your bounds in this Ziwei sacred city. The power of my Ji family is beyond your imagination. I advise you slap. A wisp of chaotic energy emanated from Ji Xian, transforming into a palm the size of a grinding wheel, delivering a resounding strike to Ji Boxiao's face. Ji Boxiao was hurled into the air, bloodied teeth spilling from his mouth. Even at this juncture, he continued to invoke the Ji family. Does this holy son possess any sense? Does he truly believe he cannot be slain? A nebulous beam of chaos shot forth from Ji Xian's fingertips, spreading rapidly like tendrils, devouring everything in its vicinity. Elder, please wait. A figure flickered into view from the void ahead. Ji Mingho. Chapter 132. Xianyuan above the flying immortal tower, thick smoke billowed. Ji Mingho traversed the void, crossing through layers of mist, arriving before Ji Xian. In terms of age, he appeared to be similar to Ao Tian, clad in flowing purple robes, youthful and innocent, with a strikingly youthful demeanor. What is it? Ji Xian inquired, his voice resonating powerfully, inducing a sense of reverie. Ji Mingho, momentarily taken aback by his appearance, quickly bowed in respect. Elder, I humbly implore you to spare my clan brother's life. And why is that? By killing him, you would eliminate a rival, making it easier for you to inherit the family head position in the future, Ji Xian replied. Ji Mingho shook his head, stating, If I were to make such a request, I would be unworthy of being the Ji family's holy son. Those who can attain the great path must possess an indomitable spirit and courage that transcends their peers. Although we are rivals, I have never held a grudge against him. He then shifted his tone. I understand that you have come to mend the rift with my Ji family, or perhaps to seek the secrets of our bloodline. The Ji family has always respected the strong. Given your prowess, we shall not treat you with indifference. However, the holy son and holy daughter are the lifeblood of the Ji family, appearing only once in millennia, and are exceedingly precious. Should such a figure perish, your relationship with my Ji family would only become further estranged. Although you are unafraid of the Ji family, Ji Mingho hesitated. But Ji Xian comprehended his underlying intent. He closed his eyes momentarily, silently appreciating. This youth possesses a calm disposition, neither servile nor arrogant. And his succinct words grasped the crux of the matter. With such talent, he is indeed a worthy candidate. In the future, he could serve as a bridge to lead the Ji family. Yet, outwardly, Ji Xian maintained an air of aloofness, offering no response. After a brief pause, he commanded, You may leave. Such significant matters are beyond your youthful comprehension. Bring your elder here. With a sweeping gesture of his sleeve, Ji Xian pushed Ji Mingho away. The fierce wind howled, sending Ji Mingho flying dozens of miles away. Just as he contemplated returning to plead once more, a strange disturbance echoed from the void behind him. Mingho, an aged voice resonated from the rear. As Ji Mingho turned around, he beheld the tall, dragon-like figure of Ji Yuanzhong standing behind him. Grandfather, he acknowledged. Ji Yuanzhong gazed at him with eyes full of kindness and affection. Step aside. Let your grandfather speak with him. An elderly man and a youth harnessed divine light and soared before Ji Xian. I am Ji Yuanzhong, honored to meet a fellow Taoist. Ji Yuanzhong offered a slight bow. The man before him possessed the power to annihilate quasi-imperial weapons, and his strength was unfathomable. Even as the head of an ancient clan, he did not dare to be careless. Xiantian Dao sect, Ji Xian, the latter replied succinctly. Ji Yuanzhong scrutinized Ji Xian with an expression of astonishment, his heart echoing with admiration. This individual was remarkably young, likely not exceeding 5,000 years of age. To possess such cultivation at this age was indeed a rare talent of the ages. If the Ji family could produce someone like him, perhaps they could once again guide the clan back to its former glory. The two quasi-emperors exchanged glances across the void, their vigorous life force manifesting as a long rainbow-like dragon, erecting a chasm that pierced the heavens, soaring into the clouds. The surviving cultivators gazed up in awe. This was a realm they could scarcely fathom. Alas, to witness two quasi-emperors together in one's lifetime is a fulfillment of a wish. The great emperor had not emerged for 20,000 years. The quasi-emperor was now the pinnacle of the present world. What were they planning? Were they to instigate a war of emperors? Some lower-level cultivators, unable to withstand the overwhelming aura, felt a sense of trepidation. Let me state my purpose directly, Ji Xian spoke. Ji Yuanzhong understood the intent and waved his hand, enveloping the area in a domain that spanned 100 miles, severing all probing of divine consciousness. Why was the Ji family's Wu Dao lineage abandoned? And why are they deemed traitors? Ji Xian inquired straightforwardly. Alas, Ji Yuanzhong sighed, this matter is complex, even tied to an ancient celestial artifact of the 9 heavens and 10 earths. An ancient celestial artifact? Ji Xian echoed, intrigued. It is a supreme weapon forged by our ancestor, Emperor Xianyuan. During the primordial era, it shattered the shackles of heaven and earth, transcending tribulations to become an immortal artifact. It is called the Xianyuan sword. Ji Yuanzhong elaborated. At this revelation, Ji Xian was taken aback. In his memory, the Xianyuan sword was the ancestral artifact of Chinese civilization, wielded by the cultural progenitor, the Yellow Emperor, whose surname was Ji. Might I inquire if the imperial title of the Ji family's ancestor was Huang? Ji Xian asked. A flicker of peculiarity crossed Ji Yuanzhong's eyes as he nodded, astonished that after countless eons, a descendant could recall such a figure. Countless thoughts flashed through Ji Xian's mind. With the Yellow Emperor, there must surely be the Flame Emperor as well. Ji Yuanzhong continued, regrettably, to bring an end to the chaotic darkness of the primordial era, the Xianyuan sword sacrificed itself, severing its own path to suppress that tumultuous time. Its blade was split into two, forever sealed away. Your lineage's ancestor, our Wu Dao ancient ancestor, secretly stole a fragment of the Xianyuan sword tens of thousands of years ago and took it to another realm, never to return. Such an act was undoubtedly a betrayal of the Ji family. Hence, your lineage bears this title. And where is the other half of the Xianyuan sword? Ji Xian pressed. Ji Yuanzhong remained silent for a long while. In the Taichu ancient mind, in the profound depths of the cosmos, a transformation has taken place. The primordial ancient mind is on the verge of revival, and the legendary Xianyuan sword may soon re-emerge into the world. The convening of the Sacred Land Feast serves two purposes, to uphold the traditions of the Ji family, and to deliberate on this matter. Thus, my esteemed friend, your presence is imperative. Ji Xian nodded in acknowledgement. Given the circumstances, he had no choice but to attend. I observe that your imperial might has taken form. You are on the cusp of attaining enlightenment, are you not? Ji Yuanzhong inquired, his gaze fixed upon the turbulent dragon energy emanating from Ji Xian. At any moment, Ji Xian succinctly replied, ah, how time, like a blade, cleaves through the exceptional, lamenting the allure upon the path of immortality. The era belonging to you is about to dawn. Ji Yuan complimented. At that moment, Ji Boxia, who had fainted in Ji Xian's palm, gradually regained consciousness. His body was drenched in blood, with numerous wounds exposing stark white bone, presenting a truly harrowing sight. Ji Xian had deliberately tempered his strength, otherwise, even a mere hint of chaotic energy would have shattered his flesh and scattered his soul. Utilizing his enlightened spiritual root, Ji Xian perceived the unique condition of Ji Boxia. Compared to the Void Sword body, it was still considerably lacking. Contemplating this, he handed Ji Boxia over. A mere child, keeping him serves no purpose. Thank you for your assistance. Ji Yuanzhong promptly accepted, cradling him like a treasure. I entrust this individual to you, yet I caution you regarding the one behind him. Should they obstruct me again, I shall not hesitate to strike them down. Even the emperor of the Ji family cannot impede my resolve, Ji Xian proclaimed with formidable presence. Leaving behind this declaration before vanishing into thin air, Ji Yuanzhong gazed at the ruins of the ZY sacred city, feeling a deep sense of unease. The emergence of this individual would undoubtedly disrupt the balance of the 9 heavens and 10 realms once more. Chapter 133. Return to the Xiantian realm in the Feixian Tower. Within the Tianzi Pavilion. Sir, I trust your accommodations meet your satisfaction? The brothel keeper inquired with a bow, trembling as she stood before the desk. Ji Xian was seated upon a cushion, exuding an aura of profound Tao. You may leave now. he replied. Yes. The brothel keeper retreated, bowing thrice before exiting. Upon leaving, she was drenched in cold sweat, exhaling a sigh of relief. This esteemed individual had chosen to spare her. A fortnight prior, she had witnessed the exchange between this lord and the head of the G family from afar. Who could have anticipated such a titan gracing the Phasian Tower? Oh, if only I could be 2,000 years younger, she mused, caressing her cheek as fantasies began to swirl in her mind. At that moment, voices of contention emerged from the staircase corner, belonging to Ao Tian and Sun Huang. Hey, you wretched monkey. All you do is bring trouble to the young master. Just wait until I report you. Damn it, who provoked me first? He deserved a beating. The creaking of wooden stairs echoed as the two ascended, brushing past the brothel keeper and entering the room. Greetings, young master. Greetings, esteemed teacher. Have you caused trouble? Ji Xian opened his eyes, a flicker of lightning flashing within. Sun Huang shrugged. A disciple from the Yinyang sacred land insists that my staff is their ancestral artifact. I couldn't stand it and rendered him incapacitated. Ji Xian stroked his chin, deep in contemplation. Beside him, Ao Tian spoke. Young master, today the Ziwei holy city has welcomed numerous great sects and sacred lands. The streets are bustling with people, seemingly gathered for the Ji family's grand banquet. Moreover, just downstairs, a disciple of the Ji family came to invite us to the feast. I am already aware of this. Let us prepare, Ji Xian replied. Yes. Suddenly, the system's notification sounded. Ding. Disciple Ling Yun has met the conditions for ascension. Ji Xian accessed the system panel and discovered that Ling Yun's cultivation had reached the early stage of the Saint Realm. He opened his right hand, and the aura of Xian Huang enveloped him, manifesting the Xiantian realm. Atop a sword mountain in the central domain, Ling Yun stood bare-chested, his bronze skin radiating a faint divine light. Behind him, black and white mists swirled in harmony, embodying the profound sword intent of life and death. Ji Xian focused his mind, entering the Xiantian realm. With a thunderous rumble, the clouds of the universe parted, revealing Ji Xian's figure. He stood as a towering giant amidst the heavens, while the stars above intertwined to form a crown, suspended above his head. Sensing this presence, Ling Yun opened his eyes wide. Greetings, master, he exclaimed, his face alight with excitement, his body trembling slightly. After several years, his master had finally returned to the Xiantian realm to see him. Ji Xian nodded. Indeed, as the second disciple, it is commendable to be ahead of your senior sister. Ling Yun beamed, revealing his bright white teeth. This is all thanks to Master S' transformation of the Xiantian realm. In recent years, the realm has expanded greatly, giving rise to many treasures that previously did not exist. Moreover, the cultivation laws have become increasingly complete, and it is due to these factors that I have ascended so swiftly. Now that you have reached the Saint Realm, accompany me to the upper realm. The sect is newly established and not yet thriving, Ji Xian urged. Upon hearing this, Ling Yun's expression shifted. He looked up, tears welling in his eyes, as if he wished to say something. Why are you crying? Ji Xian was taken aback. It seemed somewhat incongruous for this rugged man to shed tears. Master, my mother has passed away. I wish to return and observe filial piety for 2 years. My senior sister is also on the verge of ascension. I would like to accompany her then, Ling Yun requested. Going back, did I not provide you with a longevity elixir to heal? Ji Xian inquired, perplexed. Although that heavenly grade elixir was not a miraculous remedy, it should suffice for a mortal to live another lifetime. Sigh, Ling Yun lamented, Master, you occupy a high position and may not be aware. The laws of the lower realm are becoming increasingly dynamic, and the cycles of life and death are accelerating. Mortals, lacking cultivation, cannot communicate with heaven and earth, and are destined to be eliminated by the grand design of the universe. No elixir can alter this. In simple terms, my mother died of old age. His tone carried a trace of sorrow, his voice wavering slightly. I can extend her life for another generation, Ji Xian vowed. To his surprise, Ling Yun declined. The conflicts in the lower realm are beginning to surface. The struggles among the great sects are rampant, and mortal lives are treated as insignificant. I do not wish for her to suffer. This is already her best resting place. Ji Xian nodded, choosing to remain silent thereafter. The stars in the sky shifted once more, and he vanished from his place. At the heart of the Xiantian realm, on the summit of Mount Tai in the central region, Ji Xian stood tall, surveying the vast expanse before him. In addition to the 5 realms of East, West, South, North, and Central, several new landmasses had emerged, all birthed from Ji Xian's fortune and destiny. He extended his right hand, grasping a thread of the world's rules. These rules, delicate as fine threads, were interwoven throughout the heavens and earth, with strands of crimson mist swirling around them, exuding an intense and tumultuous aura. This was indeed the power of measurement. Such subtlety could ensnare the hearts of men, igniting a desire for conflict, truly a fearsome force. Ji Xian observed intently, his lips murmuring. The impending tide of power was not confined to this continent alone, but spanned the myriad realms. Contemplating the Ji family's sacred banquet, the Taichu ancient mine, and the dark musings of Ji Xian on Ming Mountain, he devised a series of plans. System, rewards for ascending to sainthood. Calculating. Detected that disciple Ling Yun has reached sainthood, automatically upgrading cultivation method. Ding. Death and Life Divine Sword has automatically upgraded to an Immortal Path technique. Enlightenment of Method X1 and Upgrade Opportunity for Magical Treasure X1 are being distributed. Drawing Lottery. A series of notifications from the system resonated. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a 2-star reward. Red Dust Sword Box. Red Dust Sword Box. Any sword nurtured within can ultimately evolve into an immortal sword. A red box, approximately a foot in length, materialized in Ji Xian's hands. Now even immortal swords could be mass-produced. A smile graced Ji Xian's lips. Clang. At that moment, the sound of a sword resonated. Xiong emerged from the void, eagerly approaching the sword box. Young master, what is this? May I lie inside for a moment? Her delicate brows arched with desire. Oh, this is a sword coffin. The sword spirit is interred within after death. Ji Xian replied with a faint smile. Hiss. Xiong's expression turned grim, a chill coursing through her, and she hurriedly hid behind Ji Xian. Haha, I jest. This is for nurturing immortal swords. Please, go ahead. Ji Xian gestured for her to enter. You treat me like a child. Xiong tugged at his sleeve, puffing her cheeks in complaint. By the way, was that little black fellow your disciple? Yes, why do you ask? Ji Xian countered. His heart seems rather extraordinary, Xiong murmured. Do you understand the innate sword heart? The sword emperor of your achieved the sword king body through a unique sword heart. Upon hearing this, Ji Xian raised an eyebrow in surprise. What are you implying? Xiong suggested that if the sword emperor's inheritance could be obtained, that boy might just become this generation's sword emperor. Chapter 134. A predestined hardship, separation another sword emperor. Once I ascend to the throne, you shall accompany me on a journey through the river of sword Dao. At this, Xiong's eyes widened in disbelief as she scrutinized Ji Xian. So soon to become an emperor? The last time I saw you, you had only just reached the status of saint. As they spoke, she flew to Ji Xian's side. Wrinkling her nose as she began to sniff the air, Ji Xian smiled gently. Snap. A crisp sound echoed as a force of origin imperial might coalesced at Ji Xian's fingertips. It took the form of a golden figure resembling him, surrounded by a halo of 7-colored divine light, shrouded in an air of mystery. How many years did it take you to ascend from saint to semi-emperor? A monster. This was the most fitting term she could conjure. Subsequently, she cast her gaze upon the diminutive figure. Such an unusual imperial aura, as one of a swordsmanship constitution. Why does your imperial presence not take the form of a sword? Xiong stepped forward, extending her delicate hand, as white and fine as mutton fat jade, eager to probe further. However, when she approached within 3 inches of the small figure, her expression shifted abruptly. Why you? She looked up at Ji Xian, her face a mask of horror, her words tumbling out in a muddled fashion. What's wrong? Xiong exclaimed anxiously. This is not the great Tao of the present world. At least, I have never witnessed it. Yet I am certain that the 9 heavens and 10 earths will not acknowledge him. Should you seek to attain the Emperor's status through such a Tao, the heavens and earth will not grant you the opportunity. Ji Xian, however, expressed disdain. What does it matter if the heavens and earth do not recognize me? This is the path I have chosen for myself. I require no one's acknowledgement. Nor do I need anyone to interfere. Xiong clicked her tongue. But pursuing this path during the tribulation will subject you to the suppression of the heavenly Tao. As long as one exists within this realm, it is impossible to contend against the heavenly Tao. Ji Xian shook his head. Today's cultivators are merely adhering to convention, treading the same old paths, confined within a limited realm. This is why they cannot become immortals. The future will sweep across the myriad realms. Though the 9 heavens and 10 earths are vast, they are still insignificant compared to the boundless cosmos. I have studied the last great battle. Even treasures of the caliber of the Xianyuan sword were destroyed. If innovation is not pursued, no one will ever escape this realm. If the heavenly Tao dares to obstruct me, then let it come. I am confident that I fear no one. Ji Xian revealed a radiant smile, his black hair billowing, exuding a spirited and audacious demeanor. Xiong remained silent for a prolonged moment, offering no further words, before swiftly diving into the red dust sword box. Ji Xian collected it, intending to take one last glance at the disciples remaining here before departing. System, retrieve real-time images of the disciples across the Xiantian realm. A virtual white screen materialized, swiftly cycling through various scenes. Beside a volcano, Huolinger sat by a fiery spring, absorbing the essence of fire. She still wore the red lotus dress gifted by Ji Xian, her hair cascading over her shoulders, her eyes tightly shut, the vermilion mark on her brow accentuating her beauty. Is it an illusion? She opened her eyes, surveying her surroundings. Apart from the endless gray volcano, there was nothing else. Master. Meanwhile, Ji Xian had already switched off the image. In the central region, the Qin Imperial Palace. Red silks adorned the various palaces, countless eunuchs and maidservants were bustling about, seemingly preparing for some event. A festive air enveloped the entire palace. Oh, has Ying gotten married? Ji Xian directed his gaze towards the harem, clicking in. Goodness. Ji Xian recoiled, hastily shutting off the screen. This is outrageous. His face flushed crimson, muttering incessantly. For goodness sake, at your age. Do you not care for your dignity? The system's voice suddenly chimed in. You dare to blame me? It is you who transmitted this image. You are clearly more excited than I am. Ji Xian retorted. Objection. The system is a genderless entity, entirely disinterested in matters of intimacy. Host, you are framing me. Dignity. Not. Required. Enough. Enough. Let us switch quickly. Ji Xian waved his hand, eager to forget the matter at hand. With a flicker, the scene transitioned to a floating island in the eastern wilderness. On a patch of grass, the Tai Su chaos worm lay languidly, its snot bubbles varying in size. It had grown to about 10 feet long,